Hey everyone. Tonight we're diving deep into the story of an empire so powerful, so dominant, that it forced one of the greatest civilizations in history to build the most iconic fortification ever known. We're talking about the Xiongnu, the nomadic masters of the steppe who became China's greatest rival. Picture it, 1,000,000 horses thundering across a frozen plain, the sky black with arrows, and an entire nation that lives, fights, and dies in the saddle. This isn't just history, it's a survival story. And let's be honest, faced with the need to hunt, fight, and migrate just to see the next sunrise, you probably wouldn't survive this. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. I always love to see where you're all listening from, so post your location and maybe your local time in the comments below. Now dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You're standing in a sea of grass. It's not the gentle manicured green of a park. It's a coarse, pale ocean of yellow and brown that stretches to every horizon, rippling under a wind that never ever stops. This is the Eurasian steppe, the largest temperate grassland on Earth. It's a single unbroken highway of grass stretching from Hungary in the west to Manchuria in the east. And right now, around 300 BCE, you are standing in the heart of it, in what will one day be Mongolia. There are no cities here. There are no towns. There are no farms. The very idea of farming is a joke. The soil is thin and poor. The growing season is brutally short, and the rain is hopelessly unreliable. This is a world of extreme, violent temperatures. You'll endure winters that dip to 40 below zero, where the wind feels like sharp, solid ice against your exposed skin. Then, you'll suffer through short, scorching summers where the air is dry and thick with dust. This isn't a land that nurtures civilization. It's a land that challenges you to survive it. You can't build a permanent home here, so you don't. Your home is the gyr, what many call a yurt. It's a masterpiece of engineering, a circular lattice of collapsible wood covered in thick layers of felted wool. You can dismantle your entire world, pack it onto a cart or the back of a camel, and be moving in under an hour. You have to. Because in this world, wealth isn't measured in land which is worthless or in gold which you can't eat. Wealth is measured on the hoof. You are a pastoral nomad. This is the central mainstream historical fact of the steppe. This environment forces a nomadic lifestyle. Your entire life, your culture, your society, revolves around your herds of sheep, goats, yaks, and above all, horses. You don't wander aimlessly. You follow the grass. You move your animals from pasture to pasture in a constant seasonal rotation, seeking out the new growth that a brief summer shower might bring. Your diet consists almost entirely of meat, milk, and cheese. You drink arag, fermented mare's milk, a sour, slightly alcoholic, and surprisingly nutritious brew. It's the original probiotic wellness drink, but with a serious kick. But you are not alone out here. This vast, empty-feeling land is actually a crowded chessboard of competing tribes. To your east, the Donghu. To your west, the Yuezhi. Sprinkled between are the Wusun, the Dingling, and a dozen other groups whose names are lost to the wind. And somewhere in the Ordos Loop, pressed up against the Yellow River, is your own tribe, a small, not yet famous group known as the Xiongnu. You are all fighting for the same resources. The best grazing lands, the safest winter pastures, and the most reliable water sources. It's a world of constant low-level skirmishes, of cattle rustling and honor feuds. You are a warrior from the moment you can ride a horse, which is basically the moment you can walk. We call you nomads, but it's a loaded term. Historians still argue whether the people of the steppe were true, random wanderers or practiced transhumance. A much more organized system of moving between fixed seasonal pastures. The evidence points to the latter. You know this land intimately. You have a mental map of every spring, every valley, every mountain pass. It's not chaos. It's a precise, brutal, and logical way of life. And you are different from the people to the south. Over the high mountains, down in the fertile valley of the Yellow River, other people are living a completely different life. They are the warring states of China. They live in packed earth cities. They have kings and bureaucracies. They use iron plows to grow millet and rice. And they are terrified of you. To them, you are the barbarian. This isn't just an insult, it's a description. You don't write, you don't live in cities, you don't farm, and most scandalously, you wear trousers. You and the other steppe peoples basically invented pants because you can't ride a warhorse in a toga or a flowing robe, at least not without a serious wardrobe malfunction. To the settled agricultural Chinese, you are a force of nature, like a blizzard or a plague of locusts. You appear from the north without warning, your horses so fast they seem demonic, and you disappear before an army can be gathered. You raid for what you can't make: grain, silk, metal, and sometimes people. This isn't calculated malice, it's an insurance policy. When a winter is too harsh and your herds die, you raid or you starve. But you aren't just a brute. This is a quirky tidbit that archaeology has proven. While we lack Xiongnu bodies from this early, your neighbors and predecessors, like the Scythians and the Pazyryk people, were preserved in the permafrost of the Altai Mountains. These ice mummies reveal a culture of incredible artistic sophistication. They are covered in elaborate, intricate tattoos of stylized animals, griffins, stags, and tigers, locked in swirling combat. They were buried with extravagant gold artifacts, delicate silks, and yes, containers of cannabis. This isn't a primitive world, it's just a different world, with its own complex art, spiritual beliefs, and social structures. Right now, in 300 BCE, this world is fractured. The steppe is a mosaic of squabbling tribes. You, the Xiongnu, are just one piece of that puzzle, and not even the biggest. The Eurasian are stronger, the Donghu are more numerous. You're like a high school cafeteria map of rival cliques, but with significantly more archery. This is the world before the wall. The walls that exist now are just scattered lines of rammed earth, built by the individual Chinese states of Zhao or Yan to keep raiders out. They are defensive speed bumps, not a unified frontier. They are built to stop you. But they aren't built to stop an empire, because that's what's about to happen. This entire system of fractured, mobile, horse-powered energy is about to be unified. It's waiting for one person, one leader with a vision brutal enough to forge all this competing energy into a single, terrifying weapon. The steppe is about to get organized. So let's talk about you, the Xiongnu. Who are you really? You're hearing this name, Xiongnu, whispered in fear by the farmers to the south. It's a name given to you by your enemies. It's written in Chinese characters, Xiongnu, and for centuries, scholars translated it as fierce slave or inauspicious slave, a nice standard issue bit of imperial trash talk. It's highly unlikely it's what you called yourselves. That name is lost. What you call your own people, your obog or clan, is a private matter. Xiongnu is what the Han call the massive, sprawling, terrifying political entity you are about to create. And here is the absolute key, the mainstream historical fact you need to understand. The Xiongnu are not a people. They are not an ethnicity. They are not a race. You can't do a DNA test and get a result back that says 100% Xiongnu. It's like trying to find the DNA for NATO or the Horde. The Xiongnu are a confederation. This is the steppe's natural form of superorganization. Think of it less as a nation and more as a massive mobile conglomerate, or maybe a spectacularly successful multi-level marketing scheme, but with more horses and fewer motivational posters. At the very top, you'll eventually have a supreme leader, the Xiongnu. But he's not an all-powerful emperor like the one in China. He's more like the consensus-picked CEO of a vast holding company, or perhaps the most powerful mafia don who gets to chair the big meetings. His power depends entirely on his ability to keep all the other tribal chieftains happy. And who are they? They are the leaders of all those other groups we mentioned, the Dingling, the Wusun, maybe even fragments of the Yuezhi and Donghu after you conquer them. Each of these chieftains leads his own tribe with its own pastures, its own traditions, and its own army. They pledge allegiance to the Xiongnu in exchange for things. They want protection from other rivals. They want a cut of the loot from raids. They want status. If the Xiongnu is strong, successful in war, and distributes the captured silks and grains fairly, the confederation holds together. But if he's weak, if he loses a major battle, or if a bad winter kills the herds and he can't provide for his followers, the whole thing threatens to fly apart. Trying to unify nomadic tribes is like herding cats. Except the cats are all heavily armed, riding war horses, and have deeply held opinions about who should be in charge. The Xiongnu Confederation is the political technology that finally temporarily solves this problem. It's a machine for extracting and focusing the scattered power of the steppe. This, of course, leads to the great mystery, the one that fuels endless academic brawls. Ethnically, linguistically, who were the Xiongnu? This is the central scholarly debate. The short answer is, we don't know, and we will probably never know. The Xiongnu didn't have their own writing system, at least not one that survived. All we have are their names, titles like Xiongnu or personal names like Madu, transcribed into Chinese. And trying to reconstruct a language from a handful of foreign-sounding names is a linguistic nightmare. Scholars have thrown every theory at the wall. Were they Turkic? The later Gökturks, who formed their own steppe empire, claim to be their descendants. Were they Mongolic, the ancestors of Genghis Khan? Possible. Were they Yeniseian, related to a tiny remote language group still spoken in Siberia? This is a very popular modern theory. Were they Iranian-speaking, like the Scythians and Eurasian to their west? Also possible. The most likely answer is all of the above. The Xiongnu Confederation was a multi-ethnic, multilingual monster. The ruling class, the core Xiongnu tribe, might have spoken one language, say Yeniseian or early Turkic, but the empire they controlled would have been a babel of different tongues. It wasn't a melting pot, it was a lumpy stew. You didn't become Xiongnu by birth, you joined the Xiongnu. You were conquered by them and absorbed. You fled your old tribe and swore allegiance to a Xiongnu chief. It was a political identity, not a genetic one. This brings us to a quirky tidbit. What did you look like? Chinese records, being the primary source, are frustratingly vague and heavily biased. They lean hard on the barbarian trope. Sima Qian, the great Han historian, describes them as, well, different. But when we look at the skeletons from Xiongnu-era tombs, especially in Mongolia and southern Siberia, the story gets wonderfully complicated. Archaeologists find a dizzying array of physical types. Many skeletons are clearly identifiable as East Asian, what you might expect. But others, sometimes in the same high-status grave, have features described as Europoid or Caucasian. Chinese sources themselves mention Xiongnu with red hair and green eyes. This isn't proof that the entire Xiongnu leadership was European, as some fringe theories love to claim. It's proof that the Confederation was an ethnic free-for-all. It had absorbed Scythian and Eurasian elements, who were likely Iranian-speaking, lighter-featured peoples, from the west. It had absorbed forest-dwelling tribes from Siberia. It had absorbed captured Chinese artisans and defectors from the south. So you, as a Xiongnu warrior, might have black hair and high cheekbones, while the man riding next to you, also a Xiongnu, might have a red beard and paler skin. It didn't matter. What mattered was your loyalty to your chief, your skill with a bow, and your allegiance to the Xiongnu. This diversity was a strength. The Confederation could absorb anyone, turning enemies into assets and project a unified, terrifying force outward. This is the entity that's coalescing on China's northern border. Not a simple tribe of raiders. Not a nation-state, it's a dynamic, ever-changing political alliance, a wolf pack made of many different breeds, all learning to hunt together. And as this confederation slowly stitches itself together, you start to see the first reactions from the south. Before the Xiongnu even have a single great leader, before they're unified, the idea of them is already putting pressure on the states to your south. They've been dealing with your scattered raids for centuries, and their solution is slow, expensive, and ultimately, not very effective. They're starting to build. This rising pressure you're creating, this constant threat of your raids, is having an effect. Down south in the fertile river valleys, the people you raid are getting organized, but they're not one people yet. You're looking at the chaotic, bloody free-for-all known as the Warring States period. 7 major kingdoms, the Qi, Chu, Yan, Han, Zhao, Wei, and Qin, are locked in a centuries-long struggle for supremacy. It is a bit like if every state in the US decided to have its own king and declare war on its neighbors for 250 years. Now, most of these states don't have to worry about you. The Chu are way down south enjoying the subtropical weather, but 3 of them are on the front lines. They are the border states. Yan in the northeast, Zhao in the center, and Qin in the west. Their northern territories rub right up against your grazing lands, and they are the ones who are getting tired of you stealing their grain and kidnapping their farmers. So they get an idea. A very slow, very expensive, and very earthly idea. They decide to build. This is the mainstream historical fact that shatters the popular myth. The Great Wall was not the idea of one emperor. It wasn't built all at once. The very first Great Walls are being built right now, around 300 BCE, by these individual states. They are building the first earthly scars on the landscape, long before the name Qin Shi Huang means anything to anyone. You're watching a line of dust on the horizon. As you ride closer, you see it. It's not the beautiful crenellated stone and brick wall you see in photographs. That's a Ming Dynasty renovation, basically a tourist-friendly update from 1/500 years in the future. What you're looking at is a massive, gritty brown wall of stamped earth. This is the quirky tidbit, the technology of hangtu, or rammed earth. It's a marvel of low-tech, high-labor engineering. You watch thousands of conscripted laborers, farmers, soldiers, prisoners, working in the suffocating dust. They set up 2 parallel wooden planks to create a long, narrow frame. Then a line of men shuffles forward with baskets of dirt, dumping them into the frame. Another team of men standing inside the frame begins to pound, and pound, and pound. They use heavy wooden or stone rammers, chanting to keep a rhythm, compacting the loose soil into a layer as hard as concrete. Thump, 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 all day long. Once one layer is done, they move the planks up and start the next. It's an agonizingly slow process. You're basically 3D printing a 15-foot-high wall using nothing but dirt, sweat, and misery. It's probably the single worst construction gig in the ancient world, and the competition for that title is fierce. This wall snakes over the Loess Plateau, a long, dull brown monument to fear. But why, exactly? The obvious answer is defense. The wall is a barrier. Your horses are fast, but they can't jump a 15-foot wall. It forces you to find a gate or a gap. It acts as an early warning system, with signal towers built every few miles. A fire lit on one tower can be seen by the next, sending a signal of your approach back to the capital at a speed you can't match. It's a tripwire. But historians still argue whether these early walls were purely defensive. Some scholars suggest they were just as much about offense and control. By building a wall, the king of Zhao isn't just keeping you out. He's staking a claim. He's drawing a line in the dirt and saying, all the grazing land on this side is now mine. Pay your taxes. It's a territorial marker. Even more, it might have been about keeping his own people in. Life in the warring states is terrible. Taxes are crushing. Conscription is constant. Many Chinese farmers and rebels, fed up with their lords, would flee north to join you. They'd rather take their chances with the barbarians than face another tax collector. This wall, in a way, is a frontier fence, designed to stop that brain drain of farmers and soldiers from defecting to the steppe. It's less keep out and more please don't leave, we haven't finished taxing you. The most forward-thinking of these border kings is a man named Wuling of the Zhao state. He sees these new rammed earth walls going up, and he sees you and your fellow Xiongnu just riding around them. He realizes a static wall is not enough. He understands that to beat a horseman, you need a better horseman. So in 307 BCE, he does something scandalous. He forces his entire court and army to adopt the barbarian clothing and practice horse riding. This is a revolution. You have to understand, to the civilized Chinese, your clothes are a sign of your savagery. You wear trousers and boots. The Chinese elite wear elegant, flowing robes. Wuling is essentially telling his nobles to ditch their designer dresses and start wearing your practical, tight-fitting riding gear. His court nearly revolts. They see it as a complete cultural humiliation. But Wuling doesn't care. He creates the first Chinese cavalry corps modeled directly on you. He wants soldiers who can shoot a bow from horseback, who can live in the saddle, who can meet you on your own terms. And it works. The Zhao state becomes a military powerhouse. This is the real measure of your power. Long before you are a unified empire, you have already forced the most powerful kingdoms in the world to change their clothes, change their military, and spend ruinous fortunes building thousands of miles of mud walls. You are setting the agenda. But these walls are still just fragments. The Zhao have their wall, the Yan have theirs, the Qin have theirs. They don't connect. They're just isolated lines in the sand. This is all about to change. Because while you're busy squabbling on the steppe, one of these states, the Qin, is about to win the whole bloody contest. A ruthless king is rising, a man who will unify all of China, and he hates inefficiency. He's going to look at these scattered patchwork defenses, and he's going to look north at you. And he's going to decide that what he really needs is something much, much bigger. While those early dusty walls are rising in the south, your world on the steppe is about to be shattered and reformed. Right now, around 210 BCE, you, the Xiongnu, are not the top dogs. You're actually in a pretty rough spot. You're paying tribute to your powerful neighbors. To the east, the Donghu are strong and demand horses and furs. To the west, the Yuezhi are even stronger. They're the ones who control the best pastures and the early trade routes, and they regularly take Xiongnu hostages to ensure your good behavior. Your current leader, the Chanyu Tuman, is trying to hold things together, but he's just one more squabbling chief. He has no grand vision, and he has a family problem. Tuman has a son, a young man named Modu. Modu is his eldest and by all rights the heir, but Tuman has a new, younger wife, and she has her own son. She whispers in Tuman's ear, convincing him that her son should be the next Chanyu. This leaves Tuman with a classic, brutal political dilemma: how to get rid of his firstborn, Modu, without looking like a tyrant. So, he hatches a plan. It's a nasty, two-step political maneuver. First, he sends Modu to the Eurasian as a diplomatic hostage. This is a common practice, a way to guarantee a treaty. You won't attack me because I have your son. But then, Tuman pulls the second sociopathic trigger. As soon as Modu is safely delivered to the Eurasian, Tuman launches a massive, unprovoked surprise attack on them. The logic is simple and chilling. The enraged Eurasian will, of course, immediately execute their Xiongnu hostage, Modu. In retaliation, Tuman gets his son killed by an enemy, his new wife is happy, and his own hands are clean. It's a perfect, bloodless coup. But Tuman underestimated his son. Modu is not a soft princeling. He is a child of the steppe. He sees the trap closing. Just as the Eurasian are coming to kill him, he manages to steal one of their fastest, most prized horses, bursts out of the camp and rides like the wind. He escapes, dodging Eurasian arrows and his own father's attacking cavalry, and rides straight back to the Xiongnu heartland. When Modu appears before his father, Tuman is in a very awkward position. He's probably thinking, well, this is inconvenient. He can't very well kill Modu now. The man is a hero. He just humiliated the Eurasian and survived an impossible situation. So Tuman has to reward him. He does the standard thing. He grants Modu his own Tuman, command over a corps of 10,000 horsemen. It's a big mistake. It is like giving a case of dynamite and a box of matches to the son you just tried to have murdered. This is where the story shifts from political drama to pure, cold-blooded legend. This, the mainstream historical fact as recorded by the Han historian Sima Qian, is the Xiongnu's founding myth, and it is terrifying. Modu takes command of his 10,000 warriors. He knows he can't trust them. They are loyal to their own clan chiefs and ultimately to his father. He needs to break them and rebuild them. He needs to forge a weapon of pure, unthinking, absolute loyalty. And he does it with an invention. He creates the Mingdi, the whistling arrow, also called a singing arrow. This is a quirky tidbit of military technology. It's an arrowhead, often carved from bone or wood, with hollow channels and holes. When you fire it, the air rushing through these flutes creates a high-pitched, terrifying shriek. It's a signaling device. In a chaotic, dusty battle, a commander can use it to signal a charge or a flanking maneuver, or most importantly, to focus fire. It's a pre-radio attack, this target button, but Modu uses it for psychological conditioning. He assembles his 10,000 men. He holds up his new invention, and he gives them one simple order. When I fire my whistling arrow, whatever it hits, you all shoot it. Whatever it is. You do not ask. You do not think. You just shoot. Any man who hesitates will be executed. The training begins. Modu, a superb archer, leads his men out. He draws his bow, fires the whistling arrow, and it sinks into the flank of one of his own horses. his single most valuable possession, a prized heavenly steed worth a fortune. The arrow shrieks, and there's a moment of confusion. A few of his men lower their bows. They think, he can't be serious. That's his favorite horse. Modu calmly looks around, notes the men who hesitated, and has them all beheaded on the spot. A few days later, he rides out with his men again. He's riding next to his favorite wife. He draws his bow, fires the whistling arrow, and it hits her. Again, that terrible shriek. Again, that split second of horrified hesitation from some of his men. They are his bodyguards, his inner circle. They can't possibly kill the Xiongnu's son's wife. Modu, his face like stone, watches them, and the men who failed to shoot are immediately cut down. Now his 10,000 men are a different breed. They are hollowed out. They are terrified. They understand the new rule. The only thing worse than shooting the wrong target is not shooting. The final test. Modu organizes a great royal hunt, and he invites his father, Xiongnu Tumen. They ride out thousands of Xiongnu warriors thundering across the plain. Modu rides up near his father. He draws his bow, and he fires his whistling arrow straight into Tumen. This time there is no hesitation. Before Tumen can even register the sound, he is struck not by one, but by 10,000 arrows. His body is turned into a porcupine. It's an execution by a firing squad of 10,000 men. Modu's men, now bonded to him in this ultimate act of patricide, turn on the rest of the royal camp. Modu has his new stepmother executed. He has his rival half-brother executed. He kills every single chieftain, official, and relative who refuses to accept his new bloody authority. By the end of the day, the Xiongnu have a new Xiongnu. Now, historians still argue whether this entire gruesome story is literal, factual truth. Sima Qian was writing a century later, using sources who were enemies of the Xiongnu. Is this a real account? Or is it a brilliant piece of foundation mythology? A story the Xiongnu themselves told to explain the supernatural, terrifying charisma of their founder. It's a bit like the story of George Washington and the cherry tree. If George had allegedly used the cherry tree to beat his father to death and then blame it on the French, the details are probably stylized, but the result is undeniable. In 209 BCE, Modu Xiongnu, a man who survived his own father's assassination plot, takes the throne in one of the most brutal and efficient coups in history. The era of fractured tribes is over. A single, ruthless will now controls the Xiongnu. And he's just getting started. You've done it. You've followed Modu, your new Xiongnu, in an act of spectacular, terrifying patricide. The ground is still soaked with the blood of the old guard. You stand in the silence, your bow still heavy in your hand, and you look at this new leader. He's not a king. He's a predator. He has your loyalty, not out of love or respect, but out of pure, crystalline fear. But you can't run an empire on fear alone. Fear makes a man obey, but it doesn't tell him how to obey. It doesn't organize a supply line. It doesn't coordinate a million-person migration. Modu has the throne, but now he needs a system. He needs a way to turn this sprawling, chaotic, multi-tribal mess of horsemen into a single cohesive weapon. And what he creates is not just a military reform. It's a complete teardown and rebuild of your entire society. This is the mainstream historical fact that defines the Xiongnu Empire. Modu implements a revolutionary decimal-based organization. It's so simple, it's devastatingly brilliant. You are no longer just Togrul of the Blue Wolf clan. That identity is secondary now. First and foremost, you are a member of an Arav, a unit of 10, you and 9 other men. You ride together, you hunt together, you fight together. If one of you flees in battle, all 10 of you are executed. This isn't just a team, it's a mutual survival pact where everyone is everyone else's jailer. 10 of these Arav units form a Zun, a company of 100 men led by a captain. 10 of those form a Mingan, a regiment of 1,000, and 10 of those form the largest and most famous unit, the Tumen, a corps of 10,000 warriors, led by one of the Xiongnu's most trusted generals or relatives. This decimal system, this base 10 ladder, goes all the way from you, a single herder, right up to Modu Xiongnu himself. This is revolutionary for two reasons. First, it shatters the old tribal loyalties that made the steppe so chaotic. Modu mixes the clans. Your unit of 10 might have 2 men from your own tribe, 3 from the recently conquered Donghu, 1 defector from the Yuezhi, and 4 from a tribe you'd never even met. You no longer answer to your old hereditary chief. You answer to your unit leader of 10. Your old clan is now just your extended family. Your new family is this decimal unit. It's a social re-engineering project on a massive scale, designed to break horizontal loyalties to your tribe and replace them with a single, vertical loyalty, all the way up to Madu. Second, it makes your entire nation a standing army. This isn't just a military org chart. It's your social structure. It's how you migrate. It's how you pay taxes, in livestock, of course. It's how you are counted in a census. A tumen isn't just 10,000 warriors. It's the 10,000 families, herds, and gur carts that support them. When the Xiongnu calls for a tumen to ride, he is mobilizing an entire city on the move. Han Chinese sources, in their usual state of numerical panic, estimated Modu could field 300,000 to 400,000 elite cavalry. An army that size, able to move as one, was something the world had simply never seen before. But historians still argue whether Modu invented this system from scratch. The Achaemenid Persians, centuries earlier, had a strikingly similar decimal organization for their army. It's very possible this idea was a piece of military technology that had been floating around the steppe for generations, passed from the Persians to the Scythians to the Yuezhi. But even if Modu didn't invent the blueprint, he was the one who perfected it. He didn't just apply it to his army, he applied it to his entire population. He turned a people into a spreadsheet. It's like he looked at the open steppe, a place defined by its lack of structure, and imposed the most rigid, logical structure imaginable onto it. And this new system had its perks, which brings us to a quirky tidbit: the Great Hunt. This wasn't just about stocking up on meat for the winter. It was a massive combined arms military exercise and a fantastic party. Modu would order several tumen to participate. Tens of thousands of riders would form a gigantic circle, sometimes 100 miles wide. Then, to the sound of horns and drums, this circle would begin to close, slowly, over days. You and your Arav would ride shoulder to shoulder, pushing everything inward. Wolves, deer, wild boars, foxes, all fleeing in a massive panic toward a central killing ground. It was an incredible way to practice the Xiongnu's signature battle tactic, the large-scale coordinated encirclement. It was also, probably, the most epic barbecue in human history. With this new, terrifyingly efficient machine, Modu turns his attention to his old enemies. He's got a list. First, he turns east. He launches his whistling arrow toward the Donghu, the ones who had demanded tribute from your people. This time, 300,000 men shoot. The Donghu don't just lose, they are erased. Their confederation is shattered, their lands are taken, and their surviving people are absorbed directly into Modu's decimal system. Then he turns west. He rides against the Yuezhi, the powerful kingdom that had held him hostage and almost killed him. This one is personal. He crushes their armies, kills their king, and forces them to begin a long, desperate migration to the west. And in a final, legendary act of post-mortem humiliation, Modu has the Yuezhi king's skull hollowed out, lined with silver or gold, and turned into a ceremonial drinking cup. He would, for the rest of his life, drink fermented mare's milk from the head of the man who tried to murder him. It's not subtle, but it sends a very clear message. Don't mess with the Xiongnu. In a few short years, Modu has gone from a fugitive to the undisputed emperor of the steppe. He controls 1 million people, 1 million square miles. And now, he looks south. China, his great rival, has also just been unified by an equally ruthless man, Qin Shi Huang. The two largest empires on Earth now share a border. The stage is set. But the Qin Dynasty, for all its power, is about to collapse into civil war, leaving China weak and divided. And you are stronger than you have ever been. The timing is perfect. Your new unified empire is a well-oiled machine of war. You, as a single warrior, are a cog in that machine, and Modu Xiongnu, your leader, is now looking south with a calculating eye. Down in China, the world has been turned upside down. The mighty Qin dynasty, the one that unified China, the one that first really started connecting those rammed earth walls, has collapsed. It barely lasted 15 years. Its founder, Qin Shi Huang, died, and his empire, built on pure brutal legalism and slave-level labor, tore itself apart in a massive civil war. Out of that bloody chaos, a new man has risen. He's not a high-born aristocrat. He's a rough, pragmatic, former low-level official named Liu Bang. He's a brawler, a drinker, and a brilliant political operator who just won the entire Game of Thrones for control of China. He has declared himself Emperor Gaozu, the founder of the brand-new Han Dynasty. He's trying to rebuild a shattered country. He's got restless generals, a depleted treasury, and a population that is sick to death of war. The last thing he needs is a new, unified, and terrifyingly powerful empire on his northern border. And that's exactly what he's got. Modu Xiongnu, your boss, decides to test this new emperor. He's not just raiding for grain anymore. He's playing power politics. He sweeps down into the Ordos region, the fertile bend of the Yellow River, and pushes the Han borders back. He sets up a new base of operations right on their doorstep. Then he besieges the city of Mai. The Han general there, in a panic, surrenders to the Xiongnu and switches sides. This is a crisis. Emperor Gaozu is furious. He's just spent years fighting to unite China, and this nomad king dares to steal one of his cities. His advisors, who are much more cautious, warn him. They say, the Xiongnu are different. They are fast. Our armies are weary. Gaozu, in his arrogance, reportedly scoffs. He's the son of heaven. He just defeated the brilliant General Xiongnu. How hard can it be to deal with a bunch of horse-riding barbarians? He dismisses his cautious advisors and makes a fateful decision. He will lead the army himself. In 200 BCE, Gaozu marches north at the head of a massive army, supposedly over 300,000 strong. It's a typical Chinese army, a corps of infantry, supported by chariots and some cavalry. It's also winter. The weather is extremely cold, and Han sources say that many of his soldiers suffer from such severe frostbite that their fingers fall off. But Gaozu pushes on, determined to find and crush Modu. This is the mainstream historical fact, the Battle of Baideng. And it's not a battle. It's a trap. Modu sees this massive, slow-moving infantry army coming from a mile away. He's a master of steppe warfare. He knows he can't win a head-on slugging match with that many infantry. But he doesn't have to. He just has to separate the emperor from his army. He uses the classic steppe tactic, the feigned retreat. He sends his scouts out to be seen by the Han, but he only shows them his worst troops: the old men, the weak horses, the poorly armed. Han scouts ride back to Gaozu and report, "My lord, the Xiongnu are in disarray. They're a rabble, just as we thought." This feeds Gaozu's arrogance perfectly. He thinks Modu is on the run, so he does exactly what Modu wants. He abandons his main infantry force, which is slogging slowly through the snow, and charges ahead with his cavalry vanguard, a force of perhaps 40,000. He races to a place called Baideng, near the modern city of Datong, to personally capture the fleeing Xiongnu king. The trap slams shut. As soon as Gaozu and his vanguard are isolated on Baideng Mountain, the fleeing Xiongnu army returns. And it's not a rabble, it's the full terrifying might of Modu's empire. This is the quirky tidbit that the historian Sima Qian records, a detail so cinematic it's hard to believe. Modu's army, supposedly 400,000 strong, was organized by the color of its horses. As they surrounded the mountain, the Han soldiers looked out in terror. To the north, the entire Xiongnu Tumen was mounted on black horses. To the west, a sea of white horses. To the east, gray or blue roan horses. And to the south, red or bay horses. This wasn't just a barbarian horde. This was a spectacle of military discipline. It was psychological warfare, a living, breathing, color-coded nightmare. Gaozu is completely, totally trapped. For 7 days, he is besieged on that frozen mountain. The Xiongnu ride circles around the base, launching flurries of arrows. The Han soldiers are freezing, starving and cut off. Their main army is too far away to help. The new son of heaven, the founder of the Han Dynasty, is about to be captured or killed, an event that would have shattered the new empire before it even began. So, how did he get out? This is where historians still argue whether the official account is a face-saving lie or one of the strangest diplomatic ploys in history. The official story is this. Gaozu's sharpest advisor, Chen Ping, comes up with a desperate, deeply weird plan. He finds an artist. He has this artist draw a portrait of the most beautiful woman in the Han court. Then he bribes a Xiongnu guard to smuggle this portrait to Modu's wife, the Yanji. Along with the portrait comes a message from Chen Ping to the Yanji. The Han Emperor is desperate. He is about to surrender, and as part of his surrender, he is going to give our most beautiful, high-born princess to your husband, the Xiongnu, as a wife. The Yanji, according to this story, looks at the picture of this beautiful Han princess and panics. She's the queen of the steppe. She does not want this new, sophisticated silk-wearing rival in her jur. So in a fit of pure jealousy, she goes to her husband Modu and says, "Look, you've proven your point. You can't really rule this part of China anyway. It's too cold and your men aren't farmers. Let's just take the loot and go home." And Modu does. He just opens a small gap in his perfect color-coded lines. The Han army, in a state of sheer disbelief, slips out of the trap, links up with its main force and limps all the way back to the capital. Is that what really happened? Or did Modu get word that the main Han infantry was finally arriving, and he didn't want to be caught between them and Gaozu's desperate army? Or was there a massive secret bribe of gold and silk paid to the Yanji that the official records forgot to mention? We'll never know. But the result is what matters. Gaozu was utterly and completely humiliated. He learned a lesson he would never forget. The Han army cannot defeat the Xiongnu in a straight fight. They are too fast, too tough, and too well led. His arrogance was broken. He gets back to his capital, shaken and humbled, and tells his court, "We need a new plan. If we can't beat them with swords, we will have to find another way. You've returned to your high pastures, your saddlebags heavy with loot. You, a simple Xiongnu herder, are part of an army that just trapped the Son of Heaven. The word spreads across the steppe like fire. Your Xiongnu, Modu, faced the new Han Emperor and sent him running back to his palace in terror. The prestige is intoxicating, but now you wait to see what the Han will do next. Will they send another bigger army? Will they build more walls?" Emperor Gaozu, meanwhile, is back in his capital, Chang'an. He's done the math. The Battle of Baideng was a complete disaster. He lost soldiers, he lost face, and he nearly lost his empire. He now knows with chilling certainty that his armies of conscripted farmers cannot beat your unified steppe cavalry. He can't go over you. He can't go through you. So, he has to find a way to buy you. This is where one of his ministers, a man named Liu Jing, steps forward with one of the most controversial, humiliating, and arguably brilliant policies in Chinese history. He proposes a plan so radical that the court erupts in anger. He suggests that if you can't beat the barbarians, you should join them, or more accurately, have them join you. This is the mainstream historical fact, the creation of the Heqin Treaty. The words literally mean peace and kinship. It sounds lovely. It sounds like two great powers coming together. But when you read the fine print, it's a gangster-level protection racket, and you are the gangster. The treaty, which Modu Xiongnu happily agrees to, has three main parts. First, the peace part. This is just a massive annual bribe. The Han Dynasty will send you, the Xiongnu, a fixed tribute every single year. You're not just getting a one-time payment. You're getting a subscription service of free stuff. This includes enormous quantities of raw silk padding, which is incredibly light and warm, far superior to your animal furs, rice, wine, and other Chinese luxuries. Second, the kinship part. This is the truly humiliating part for the Han. Emperor Gaozu will send a Han princess north to be one of Modu's wives. This isn't just a political gesture, it's a familial one. By marrying Modu, The Han princess makes Emperor Gaozu the father-in-law of the Xiongnu Xiongnu. Modu, the barbarian, is now technically a member of the imperial family. The logic, as Liu Jing sold it, was a long-term biological gamble. If Modu has a son with this princess, that son will be the next Xiongnu, and that Xiongnu will be Gaozu's grandson. And surely a man would never attack his own grandfather's empire, right? Third, the political part. The treaty recognizes the Han and Xiongnu as two separate, equal empires. They are brother states. To you, this is just stating the obvious. To the Han, it's a dagger to their entire worldview. They are the Zhongguo, the Middle Kingdom, the center of all civilization. Everyone else is a vassal or a barbarian. This treaty forces them to admit that there is another equal power on the map. So, how does this play out? This brings us to a quirky tidbit: the fake princess. Emperor Gaozu, having agreed to this humiliating policy, just cannot bring himself to follow through on the hardest part. He has one official daughter, Princess Lu Yuan. He adores her. The thought of sending his own child into the frozen savage north to marry a man he despises is too much. So in a move that would define the Heckin policy for generations, he cheats. He finds some random girl from a minor branch of the imperial family, or perhaps even a palace servant, officially declares her to be a princess, gives her a title, and ships her north to Modu instead. Modu doesn't seem to care. He gets his princess, but more importantly, he gets the stuff. This policy of sending a counterfeit princess becomes the standard. It's a perfect microcosm of the Heckin Treaty, a diplomatic fiction on the surface with a hard, practical transaction underneath. For the next 70 years, this Heckin system will define your relationship with China, and historians still argue whether it was a brilliant success or a catastrophic failure. The success argument is that it was pragmatic. It was a pressure release valve. It bought the brand new, fragile Han Dynasty time. It was, in a brutal calculation, cheaper to send a few cartloads of silk than to fund a multi-million-dollar war every single year. It gave the Han decades to recover from their civil war, to build up their economy, to strengthen their government, and to, eventually, breed their own cavalry horses. It was a strategy of appeasement, but it was a strategic appeasement. The failure argument is just as strong. It didn't actually stop the raiding. Not at all. You, as a Xiongnu warrior, now have a baseline. You get your free shipment of silk, which you promptly trade with tribes further west for even more exotic goods. But you still need grain, and your small-time tribal chief, who doesn't see as much of the Xiongnu's distributed wealth, still has every incentive to raid. So the large-scale invasions stop, but the low-level bleeding raids continue. Furthermore, it made the Xiongnu stronger. His power on the steppe was based on his ability to distribute wealth, and now he has an endless, gushing fire hose of Chinese luxuries to give to his followers. The Han were, in effect, paying their worst enemy to become more powerful and more organized. From your perspective, standing on the steppe, life has never been better. You won. You not only get the respect of being an equal, you get paid. The Heckin Treaty is a testament to your power. And now you have a steady supply of Chinese goods. Your Xiongnu is the most powerful man in the world, and you are living in a golden age. You are, for now, the masters. So this is the golden age. Your empire is recognized, your Xiongnu is feared, and the silk and grain are rolling in from the south. But what is your life? You're not a politician in Modu's high council. You're not one of the Yanji wives debating policy. You are a herder, a warrior, a single-family unit in this vast sea of grass. Let's spend a day in your ger. You wake up before the sun. The first thing you're aware of is the smell. A complex, comforting blend of wood smoke from the central hearth, the oily wool of the felt walls, and the sharp animal scent of the herds just outside. The darkness is soft, not absolute. A single shaft of pre-dawn light falls from the tuno, the circular opening at the very peak of your home, staining the smoke-filled air a pale, dusty blue. Your home, the Jur, is a miracle of nomadic architecture. Forget the idea of a primitive tent. This is a portable house, engineered to perfection. The walls are a collapsible lattice of willow wood, which you can fold up like a baby gate. The roof is made of dozens of straight poles, all slotting into that central wheel, and the whole thing is covered in thick, heavy layers of felt, wool that your wife and her sisters have spent weeks beating, wetting, and pressing into a waterproof, windproof, and incredibly warm insulation. In the 40-degree winter, the central fire keeps this space toasty. In the summer, you roll up the bottom of the felt to let in a cross breeze. Your entire world, a home for a family of 5, can be dismantled and packed onto 2 or 3 ox carts in under an hour. You roll out of your bed, which is a pile of felt mats and animal skins on the packed earth floor. The space is strictly organized. The quirky tidbit about the GR is that it's a compass and a clock, governed by spiritual rules. The door always faces south, toward the sun. The back of the GR, the northernmost part, is the most sacred, where you keep your few prized possessions. A painted chest, a small metal idol, maybe a captured hand lacquer cup. The west side is the male side, where you keep your bow, your quiver, your saddle. The east is the female side with the cooking pots, the milk bags, and the wooden churns. And you never step on the threshold, ever. It's considered a spiritual gateway, and stepping on it is a grave offense, a sign of disrespect to the household and the spirits. You don't whistle inside the GR, you don't lean against the support posts, and you never ever point a knife at the central hearth. The fire is the living, breathing heart of the home, a sacred connection to your ancestors. Your wife is already up feeding dried animal dung, the only fuel available on the treeless step into the fire. She hands you the morning's first drink. It's not water, which is often scarce and frozen. It's sute tsai, or milk tea. It's hot, salty, and thick with fat, sometimes with a little millet thrown in. It's designed to give you a blast of calories and hydration for the cold morning. Then you eat. Breakfast is probably leftovers from last night. Chunks of boiled mutton, cold, or perhaps some arul, which is dried milk curd, pressed into chalky white rocks that are so hard you have to soften them in your mouth for an hour. It's the original protein bar, and it lasts for months. Now, the day splits. You, as the man, have one job: the herds. You step out of the GR into the biting, enormous wind. The sun is just cracking the horizon, illuminating 1,000,000 acres of absolutely nothing. You find your horse. It's not a giant war horse, it's a small, shaggy, impossibly tough creature, a Xiongnu or Mongolian horse. It's got a huge head, short legs, and the stamina of a freight train. You ride as you have since you were 3 years old, bareback or on a simple wooden saddle. You spend your entire day in the saddle, guiding your sheep, goats, and horses to new pasture, keeping an eye out for the greenest grass, and always watching for wolves. Your wife, meanwhile, is doing everything else. And this is the great scholarly debate. Historians still argue whether Xiongnu society was matriarchal. It wasn't, not in the sense of a female-ruled government, but it was absolutely matrifocal. The woman ran the world. While you're out being a cowboy, she is a combination of engineer, chemist, and CEO. Her main job today is milk. This is the mainstream historical fact of the steppe economy. It runs on milk. She and her daughters go out to the herds. Milking a half-wild mare is not like milking a cow. It's a 2-person job, difficult and dangerous. They do this over and over, collecting the milk in leather bags. Then, the chemistry begins. She pours the mare's milk into a large, open leather sack, a kukur hanging inside the GR. She adds a starter culture from yesterday's batch, and then she begins to churn, or rather, beat it. She takes a long wooden plunger and beats the milk, over and over, sometimes for hours, thousands of times. This introduces air, which activates the yeast and bacteria. The milk begins to ferment. The lactose is eaten up, turning into lactic acid and a small amount of alcohol. The result is arag, or kumis, your national drink. You come home in the evening, and she hands you a wooden bowl. It's fizzy, sour, slightly thick, and has the alcoholic kick of a very weak beer, about 23% ABV. It's also packed with vitamins and probiotics. In a land with no fruit or vegetables, this fermented milk is what keeps you alive and healthy. It's your vitamin C, your B vitamins, your everything. She's also made cheese, boiled the mutton for dinner, repaired the felt, taught the children, and maintained all the family's social connections. The gyre and all the wealth inside it, it's her property. Xiongnu women were famously powerful, independent, and respected. Chinese envoys were often shocked to see them riding freely, managing household accounts, and even giving the Xiongnu political advice. You come home as the sun sets. The herds are brought in close, circled around the gyres for protection. You sit by the fire. You eat the boiled mutton with your hands and a small knife, and you drink your arag. You are tired, you are full, and you are safe. Your power doesn't just come from the Han Treaty. It comes from this gyre, it comes from the horse, and it comes from the weapon hanging on the wall, the one that makes this whole lifestyle possible. You're sitting by the fire in your gyre, full of mutton and arag, and there, on the western male side of the gyre, it hangs. It's your most valuable possession, worth more than a dozen sheep. It's your primary tool, your status symbol, and the key to your empire's survival. It's your bow, and it is not a simple stick and string. You look at it. Unstrung, it doesn't even look like a bow. It's a short, lumpy, backward-curving thing. It looks almost broken, like a piece of driftwood. It's only about 4 feet long, compact enough to be handled with ease from the back of a galloping horse. This small, ugly-looking object is arguably the most advanced piece of military hardware on the planet. This is the mainstream historical fact, the Xiongnu composite bow. It is a masterpiece of laminated engineering. It's not made from a single piece of wood like a simple European longbow. Oh no, that's for farmers. Yours is a composite. It's a sandwich of different specialized materials painstakingly glued together over months or even years to create a terrifyingly efficient spring. Let's build one. You start with a core, a thin strip of wood, maybe birch or maple, that gives the bow its basic shape. On the belly of the bow, the part that faces you when you draw it, you glue long, thin plates of horn. You might use ibex or water buffalo horn, meticulously shaved down. Why horn? Because horn is a miracle material. It resists compression. When you draw the bow, the belly is being squeezed and the horn fights back, storing that energy. On the back of the bow, the part that faces the target, you glue a thick, heavy layer of sinew. This is the shredded Achilles tendons of wild deer or cattle, pounded and soaked and layered into a dense fibrous mat. Why sinew? Because sinew is the opposite of horn. It resists tension. When you draw the bow, the back is being stretched, and the sinew stretches like a bundle of heightest rubber bands, storing even more energy. And what holds this impossible sandwich of wood, horn, and sinew together? This is the quirky tidbit, the glue. You are using a glue so powerful it's almost mythical. It's isinglass, a superglue rendered from the dried swim bladders of fish, like sturgeon, or you're using a hide glue boiled down from sinew scraps. This stuff is waterproof mostly, temperature resistant, and forms a bond that is stronger than the materials themselves. The whole process is an art form. It takes months. You glue the layers, then you have to let them cure in a dry place. Rushing it is a disaster. It's a slow, patient, secret technology. And then there's the shape. It's a recurve. When the bow is unstrung, the ears, the tips, or sayas, curve away from you. To even string this bow is a feat of strength. You have to brace it against your legs or have a friend help you and bend the limbs back on themselves just to get the string on. This preloads the entire weapon with a huge amount of tension before you've even started to draw it. The result? You have a compact 4-foot bow that can have a draw weight of 100, 130, even 160 pounds. That's double or triple the power of a simple wooden bow of the same size. When you pull that string back, not with your fingers but with a specialized thumb draw using a jade or bone thumb ring for a clean release, you are storing a colossal amount of energy. And when you let go, that energy is transferred to the arrow with terrifying efficiency. This isn't a long-range artillery piece, it's a close-quarters armor-piercing weapon. From 50 or 75 yards, one of your 3-sided iron-tipped arrows can punch straight through the leather, bronze, or even the lamellar iron armor of a Han soldier. It's a can opener. Now you, a single Xiongnu warrior, can do this from the back of a horse at a full gallop. You don't just shoot forward, you can shoot to the side. You can master the Parthian shot, turning completely around in your high-pommeled saddle to shoot backwards at an enemy you are pretending to flee from. This is your signature move, the feigned retreat. You lure a heavy, stupid infantry line into breaking ranks. Then you turn and rain a million arrows on them. This is what you did at Biding. It's why the Han infantry is just a slow-moving pincushion. Of course, this weapon has a weakness. That glue, that sinew. It hates humidity. It despises rain. This is why you never ride without your bow in its special waterproof leather or birch bark case. A heavy downpour, or even a few days of high humidity, can make the bow soft or worse, cause it to delaminate, to literally fall apart in your hands. This is why Han generals prayed for rain. A wet battlefield grounded your air force. But who invented this? This is the scholarly debate. Historians still argue whether the Xiongnu were the inventors or just the perfecters. The truth is, composite bows are ancient. The Egyptians had them. The Assyrians had them. Your predecessors on the steppe, the Scythians, were masters of the composite bow. But yours is different. Many Xiongnu bows found in graves appear to be asymmetrical. The lower limb is slightly shorter than the upper limb. Why? For you. For the horseman. A shorter lower limb is easier to maneuver in the saddle. It won't get tangled in your horse's mane or neck when you're leaning over for a difficult shot. It's a subtle, brilliant, ergonomic tweak, taking a known technology and perfecting it for your specific brand of mobile warfare. This weapon has built your empire. It has humbled the Han. It has given you everything. It's a symbol of your power. But it's not the source of your power. For that you look up. You look past the smoke hole of your gur to the clear, endless sky. Because that is where your gods live. You stand outside your gur after your meal looking up. The fire is a warm orange glow at your back, but the sky is everything. It's not just a ceiling. It's an ocean. It's a presence. Here on the high steppe, with no cities, no trees, and no mountains to block your view, the sky is a crushing, infinite, and holy thing. This is your cathedral, and it is the home of your God. This is the mainstream historical fact of your spiritual life. Your primary religion is Tengrism. You worship Tengri, the great eternal blue sky. He is not a human-like God sitting on a cloud. He is an all-powerful, all-knowing, impersonal force. He is the one who sets the order of the universe, who gives life, who brings the good winters and the bad. Your entire society is aligned by this belief. The Xiongnu, your great leader, isn't just a king. His official title, which he sends in letters to the Han Emperor, is the Great Xiongnu, born of heaven and earth, created by the sun and moon. He is the son of heaven, just like his Chinese rival. But his mandate of heaven is much more direct. If the Han Emperor experiences an earthquake or a flood, his court scholars can spin it as a warning. If your Xiongnu experiences a dzud, a disastrous winter that kills the herds, it means Tengri is personally angry with him. His right to rule is tied directly to his success. If he fails, it's not a political failure. It's a spiritual one. And it's a terrifyingly good excuse for a rival to rise up and kill him, claiming the sky god has chosen a new favorite. You, as a common herder, don't have this direct line. You worship Tengri, but you also worship the Earth Mother, AJ, and a whole universe of smaller, localized spirits. There are spirits in the mountains, spirits in the rivers, and most importantly, spirits in your ancestors. You believe your dead grandfather is still watching, still influencing your luck, still needing to be honored. But how do you talk to these spirits? How do you know what they want? You don't, but you know someone who does. This brings us to the quirky tidbit, the Bu, or shaman. This person, who could be a man or a woman, is your bridge to the other world. They are your doctor, your therapist, and your weatherman, all rolled into one eccentric, terrifying package. You see them in their full ritual costume, a heavy robe hung with dozens of tinkling bronze mirrors, iron charms, and bundles of eagle feathers. When the time comes for a ritual, they beat a large, hide-covered drum, a hypnotic, thumping rhythm that echoes across the plain. They enter a trance, they chant, they dance, spinning until they collapse. their soul flying to the spirit world. They can see the future. The most common way is scapulomancy. They take the shoulder blade of a sheep, remember, you have a lot of sheep, and place it in the sacred fire. As the bone heats, it cracks and pops. The shaman then reads the pattern of the cracks, divining the will of the ancestors. The spirits are angry. You must move your herd west. Your child's sickness is caused by a water spirit you offended. They are the ones who heal the sick with herbs and chants. They are the ones who call the rain in a drought. And they are the ones who preside over the most important moment of all: death. What happens when you die? You are not alone. Your family will bury you with everything you need for the next life. Your bow, your saddle, your favorite horse, sacrificed to ride alongside you, and bowls filled with arrog and mutton. But if you are a king, if you are one of the great Xiongnu nobility, your funeral is an event that shakes the empire. This is where we find the most stunning archaeological evidence for your world: the royal tombs at Noyon-ul, in the mountains of northern Mongolia. When these were first excavated, they had long since been looted, probably by the ancestors of those Siberian Yeniseian tribes we mentioned. But the looters were only after the gold. They left everything else. What they found was staggering. These aren't simple graves. They are massive, 60-foot deep pits. At the bottom is a large log cabin-style burial chamber. The Xiongnu, or Great Lord, was placed inside, surrounded by his treasures. But the tomb also contained the bodies of his retainers, and sometimes his wives, sacrificed to serve him in the afterlife. The entire chamber was then covered with a thick layer of blue clay to protect it, and the massive shaft was filled in, with a small stone temple built on top. The artifacts recovered from Noyon-ul are a map of your empire's connections. There are, of course, the classic Xiongnu gold plaques. But there are also exquisite hand lacquer cups, gifts from the Heikin Treaty. There are stunning, colorful wool tapestries woven with Persian griffins. There is even in one tomb a fragment of a Roman glass bowl. Your elite are buried with items from China, Persia, and the Mediterranean. You aren't just a steppe hoard. You are the center of a global trade network. But this leads to a great scholarly debate. Historians still argue whether this elaborate burial proves a specific, complex Xiongnu belief in an afterlife, or if it was just a raw earthly display of power. Was this about equipping the dead for a spiritual journey? Or was it about showing the living how powerful the Xiongnu was? A kind of conspicuous consumption funeral, where the family's status was proven by how much wealth they could afford to literally throw in a hole? The answer is probably both. You live in a world governed by these two forces. By day, you fear the Xiongnu's law. By night, you fear the spirit's whim. This combination of a rigid military social structure and a deeply superstitious shamanistic spiritual life makes you a formidable force. You are a disciplined soldier who also believes, without question, that the sky god has chosen you to rule the world. And as the decades of the Heikin Treaty roll on, you've gotten used to this. You've gotten comfortable. But down south in the Han court, a new baby has just been born. A child who will grow up hating this peace, hating this humiliation. He will grow up to become Emperor Wu, and he is going to dedicate his entire 54-year reign to one single goal: your complete and total destruction. For more than 50 years, the system has worked for you. The Heikin Treaty, that peace and kinship agreement, has been the foundation of your prosperity. You're now on the third generation of Xiongnu since the Great Modu. The Han emperors have dutifully sent their tribute: the silk, the wine, the grain, and of course the steady supply of princesses to marry your leaders. You've gotten used to this. The raids continue, of course, a little bit of extortion on the side to remind the Han who's boss, but the large-scale wars have ceased. You are the undisputed, unchallenged masters of the northern steppe. You are rich, you are powerful, and you have made the center of the civilized world your personal cash dispenser. But down south, in the glittering, sprawling Han capital of Chang'an, a boy was born. He was born in 157 BCE, long after the humiliation of Baideng. He grew up in a palace where the Heikin Treaty wasn't a pragmatic solution. It was a constant, simmering, national disgrace. He grew up listening to the old generals mutter about the shame of paying tribute to barbarians. He grew up with the knowledge that his great-grandfather, the dynasty's founder, had been trapped on a frozen mountain by your ancestors. And this boy, Liu Che, has just taken the throne. He is known to history as Emperor Wu of Han, or Han Wudi, and this is the mainstream historical fact. His name, Wu, is his posthumous title. It means the martial, the warlike. He didn't get this name by being a peacemaker. This man is your nemesis. He is the mirror image of your own founder, Modu. He is brilliant, he is ruthless, he is creative, and he has a single lifelong obsessive goal: to see your Xiongnu empire turned to dust. Emperor Wu inherits a China that is nothing like the one your grandfathers humbled. Those 60 years of Heqin peace, which you saw as tribute, were a 60-year investment for the Han. They weren't fighting you, which meant they weren't spending a fortune on war. Their treasury is now overflowing. Their state-run granaries are packed so full that the grain, according to the historian Sima Qian, is rotting in piles. The population has boomed. The central government has crushed the power of the local kings. Emperor Wu is the sole undisputed master of the richest, most populous, and most organized state on earth, and he is done paying you. One of his first acts is to call a great debate at court. This isn't just for show, it's a real political fight. The old guard, his father's cautious, pragmatic ministers, stand up and make the case for the Heqin Treaty. Your Majesty, the treaty works. It's cheap. It's safe. A war with the Xiongnu is a war without a victor. It's like trying to punch smoke. They will run. We will chase. Our horses will die. Our men will starve. And we will gain nothing but empty desert. Let's just keep paying them. Then Wu's own circle, the young hawks, stand up. They are a new generation full of patriotic fire. They say, "This is a humiliation. We are the Middle Kingdom. We are the center of the world. And we are paying bribes to horse-riding savages. It is a cancer on the soul of the empire. We have the money. We have the men. We must fight. We must destroy them and end this threat forever." Emperor Wu listens, and he sides with the hawks. The Heqin Treaty is over. The subscription is canceled. But Wu is a strategist. He's not just going to send an army north to freeze in the snow like Gao Zu did. He's going to use a trap, a Xiongnu trap. This, the quirky tidbit of his first move, is the Mayi incident of 133 BCE. It's a carbon copy of Modu's ambush at Baideng, but this time, the Han are the ones holding the trap. Wu finds a wealthy merchant in the border city of Mayi. He convinces this merchant to defect to the Xiongnu. The merchant rides into your Chanyu's camp. Your Xiongnu at the time is Junshan, Modu's grandson, and spins a fantastic tale. The city of Mayi is ready to surrender, he says. "I'll kill the magistrates, I'll open the gates, and you can have the entire city." Its storehouses are overflowing with treasure. Your Xiongnu, Junshan, smells an easy victory. He's grown up on the Heqin payments. He's perhaps a little soft, a little greedy. He believes it. He musters the full might of the Xiongnu army, 100,000 elite cavalry, and rides south to claim his prize. But it's all a lie. Hidden in the valleys and mountains around the city of Mayi, Emperor Wu has prepositioned a 300,000-man Han army. It's the largest ambush ever conceived. The plan is to let your 100,000 horsemen enter the narrow pass and then slam the door. Annihilate the entire Xiongnu leadership in one single catastrophic battle. You are riding with your Xiongnu. You are just a few miles from the city, your mind on all the silk and gold you're about to capture. And then, a small Xiongnu patrol sees a Han officer. They capture him. They torture him. And he spills everything. He reveals the 300,000-man army hiding in the hills. The Xiongnu freezes. He realizes, in a single cold sweat moment, that he is walking into a trap that will end his empire. He gives the one order the Han army cannot counter: retreat. Your entire 100,000-man army turns as one and sprints back north. The Han generals, hidden in their valleys, are furious. The trap was sprung before the prey was even inside. They try to give chase, but their massive army is built on infantry. You are all on horseback. It's a joke. You simply evaporate. By the time the Han army gets organized, you are 100 miles away, safe back on the steppe. The Mai incident is a total failure for the Han and a total disaster for diplomacy. The Hekin peace is shattered, and you, the Xiongnu, are furious. You have been betrayed. The truce is broken. Your Xiongnu, humiliated and enraged, unleashes a wave of punitive raids on the Han border that are more vicious than anything in a generation. But Emperor Wu doesn't care. The mask is off. This is now total war. And this leads to the great scholarly debate. Historians still argue whether Wu's new aggressive policy was a heroic necessity or a catastrophic blunder. Was he right to stop the bleeding, to stand up for China's dignity and to finally try and solve the Xiongnu problem? Or did he, in his arrogance, just start a 50-year-long war that would cost hundreds of thousands of lives, bankrupt his treasury, and bring his people to the brink of revolt? All to fight an enemy who, in the end, could never truly be conquered? Wu doesn't have time for this debate. He has learned a valuable lesson. Traps won't work. His army is too slow. To beat you, he needs two things he doesn't have: horses and allies. Emperor Wu is in his palace and he's staring at a map. He knows the war has started. He knows his ambush at Mai failed. He knows his army is too slow. He needs allies and he needs horses. But when he looks at the map, he sees one massive, infuriating problem. You, the Xiongnu, don't just control the northern steppe, that endless ocean of grass. You control the gateway to the rest of the world. Let's trace this on the map. To the immediate west of the Han capital, China is walled in. To the southwest, you have the impassable, freezing peaks of the Tibetan Plateau. To the north, you have the Gobi Desert, a waterless void of sand and black gravel. But between the plateau and the desert, there is a long, narrow, thin strip of green. It's a string of oases and river valleys, a natural highway. This is the Gansu Corridor, or the Hexi Corridor. This corridor is the single only artery connecting the heart of China to the west. It's the one viable path. If China wants to talk to anyone in Central Asia, in Persia, in India, or beyond, they must go through this hallway. And you, the Xiongnu, are standing right in the doorway. This is the mainstream historical fact. Your Xiongnu doesn't just rule the steppe. He rules the Tarim Basin. After you defeated the Eurasian and sent them fleeing west, you took over their territory. This means you control all the little city-states and oases that make up this vital corridor. You have garrisons there. You have governors there. And every caravan, every merchant, every diplomat trying to move along this route pays you. You are the toll booth on the Proto-Silk Road. We call it the Silk Road now, but it's not a road. It's not a paved highway with rest stops. It's a treacherous, ancient network of trails. And right now, in 130 BCE, you are the gatekeepers. You don't just raid, you tax. The city-state of Lulan, the kingdom of Turfan, all these little green dots in the middle of the desert, they all pay tribute to your Xiongnu, not to the Han Emperor. They send you furs, dried fruit, jade, and most importantly, they give your armies food and water, allowing you to project your power hundreds of miles from your grassy heartland. This gives you a brilliant three-way business model. You get free stuff, silk, grain, from the Han via the Hekin Treaty, or you just take it in raids. You then take that high-value, portable silk and trade it west along this corridor. You trade it to Sogdian merchants, to Bactrians, to anyone, in exchange for things you want. Exotic weapons, glass beads, Persian textiles, and that stunning Scythian animal-style gold art you love so much. Remember those royal tombs? This is how they got filled. You are not just barbarians, you are the most powerful and successful middlemen in the world. This leads to a quirky tidbit. What was the real gold standard on this early trade route? It wasn't gold, it wasn't money, it was silk. A single bolt of Chinese silk was a unit of currency, and you were hoarding it. But just as valuable, you were trading in people. This is the darker side of your control. You would raid Han territory, capture skilled artisans, weavers, metalworkers, armorers, and forcibly resettle them in these oasis kingdoms. You were engaging in a massive forced technology transfer, using Han expertise to build up your new Western territories. This control has become the central strategic crisis for Emperor Wu. It's not just that you're getting rich, it's that you have a stranglehold. His entire plan to find allies and horses is dead on arrival as long as you hold this corridor. He can't send a letter west, let alone an army. This, of course, fuels the great scholarly debate. Historians still argue whether the Xiongnu were a parasitic force on this trade, or a stabilizing one. Were you just a mafia, extorting protection money from every caravan that passed? Or were you acting like a government? By unifying the corridor, did you actually make trade safer? Did you stamp out the small-time local bandits and for a single high price guarantee a caravan's safe passage? Some scholars argue that by creating a single unified Xiongnu economic zone, you actually stimulated the early Silk Road, making long-distance trade predictable for the first time. You weren't just a toll booth, you were the highway patrol. Either way, Emperor Wu doesn't care about the economics, he cares about the strategy. He looks at that map. He knows his old enemies, the Yuezhi, the ones your ancestor Modu kicked out, are somewhere out west. They hate you. They are his natural allies. If he could just reach them, he could convince them to join him, to attack you from the west while he attacks from the south. A perfect two-front war. But to reach them, he has to send someone through your toll booth, through the Gansu corridor, through hundreds of miles of territory that you own, patrolled by your cavalry. It's not a diplomatic mission, it's a suicide mission. And he's just found the one man in China crazy, brave, or loyal enough to try it. Emperor Wu has his plan. He needs an ally, the Yuezhi, and he has his target, your western territories. Now, he just needs the man, the one who will walk into the lion's den. He finds him in a young, impossibly brave, or perhaps just impossibly naive, palace official named Zhang Qian. This is the mainstream historical fact, the mission of Zhang Qian. In 138 BCE, Emperor Wu gives this man a formal commission. His orders are simple and completely insane. He is to take a delegation of about 100 men, including a Xiongnu guide named Ganfu, a Xiongnu who had been captured and defected to the Han, and he is to walk right out of China. He must cross the entire breadth of your empire, the Gansu corridor and the Tarim Basin, find the Yuezhi, who, remember, you kicked out decades ago and who are now somewhere, and formally propose a military alliance. It's a diplomatic mission with the survival rate of walking on the moon without a spacesuit. Zhang Qian, a man of profound loyalty, bows to his emperor and sets out. He and his 100 men leave the last hand-controlled fort and walk straight into your territory. They are in the Gansu corridor. They don't get far. You, as a Xiongnu patrol, are riding your horse on a high ridge. You see a line of men, a camel caravan, walking where they shouldn't be. They are clearly Han. They are clearly not merchants. You and your Arav, your unit of 10, ride down. There's probably not even a fight. 100 men on foot, even armed, versus a Xiongnu patrol. Well, it's over in seconds. Zhang Qian is captured. Just like that. The greatest diplomatic mission in history is over in a matter of days. He is brought before your leader, the Xiongnu Junchen, the very same one who had just been tricked at Mai and was now extra furious at the Han. The Xiongnu reads Emperor Wu's letter, which Zhang Qian as an envoy must present. The Xiongnu is said to have laughed. According to the Han records, he scoffs at the very idea. He says to Zhang Qian, "The Yuezhi are to my north. How would the Han Emperor feel if I sent an envoy to the southern kingdoms of Yue through his territory? If the Han wish to send envoys, they cannot pass through my land. This is a very clear no. And now he has a problem. What to do with this diplomat? He could execute him. It would be a strong message. But you don't just kill an official envoy, not even from an enemy. It's bad form. It's bad for the spirits." So the Xiongnu decides on a different strategy. A strategy of assimilation. He's not going to kill Zhang Qian. He's going to keep him. This is the quirky tidbit, the famous decade-long detour. Zhang Qian is not thrown in a dungeon. He's not put in chains and forced to build mud walls. He's treated as a high-status guest. A prisoner, yes, but a respected one. The Xiongnu's plan is simple. If you hold a man long enough, he will forget his home. He will become one of you. So you give him a ger to live in. You give him herds to manage. And in the most important move of all, the Xiongnu gives him a Xiongnu wife. For 10 years, Zhang Qian lives as a Xiongnu. Think about this. He, a sophisticated, silk-robed Han courtier, is now living your life, the life we explored in Section 8. He wakes up in a smoke-filled gear. He learns to speak your language, probably a mix of Turkic and Yeniseian, a language no Han scholar has ever understood. He eats your food, the boiled mutton, the salty milk tea. He drinks the arag. He learns to ride a horse your way. He wears your barbarian trousers and fur-lined boots just to survive the winter. He has children with his Xiongnu wife. He becomes a Xiongnu father. He is also, whether you know it or not, the greatest spy in Chinese history. For 10 solid years, he is inside. He's not just observing you, he's living you. He sees your military drills. He understands your decimal organization, that Tumen system from Section 5 from the inside out. He sees your strengths, your speed, your bows, your toughness, but he also sees your weaknesses. He sees the political rivalries between the different chieftains. He sees how much you depend on your herds and how vulnerable you are to a bad winter. He's just there at the Xiongnu's court, watching, waiting, for 10 years. This, of course, leads to the scholarly debate. Historians still argue whether the Xiongnu's strategy was a catastrophic miscalculation or a genuinely sophisticated political move. Was it pure arrogance, believing a superior Xiongnu lifestyle would naturally convert this Han official? Or was the Xiongnu using Zhang Qian? Was he showing him the wealth and power of the Xiongnu Empire, hoping Zhang Qian would eventually go back and tell Emperor Wu, "This is a fool's errand. They are too strong. You must restart the Heqin Treaty"? We'll never know. What we do know is that Zhang Qian's loyalty never ever wavered. He lived as a Xiongnu, but he remained a Han. The Han records state that for all 10 years he kept his imperial credentials, the formal staff and silk banner that marked him as an envoy of the emperor. He refused to give them up. Then, after a decade, his chance comes. In 129 BCE, the Xiongnu Junqian dies. As always happens on the steppe, his death sets off a brief, chaotic scramble for power. The tribes are in motion, the nobles are debating, and the guards are distracted. Zhang Qian sees the opening. He's not a young man anymore. He's a hardened, middle-aged survivor. He gathers his Xiongnu wife, his children, and his one remaining loyal attendant, the guide Ganfu, who had also been a prisoner this whole time. They grab their best horses, and they ride. But they don't ride east back to China. Not yet. Zhang Qian has a mission. His emperor told him to find the Yuezhi, so he rides west. He bolts from your territory and plunges deeper into the unknown, into Central Asia, a land no Han person has ever seen. You've done it. You, Zhang Qian, have escaped. After 10 years as a guest of the Xiongnu, you seized the chaos of a Xiongnu's death, grabbed your family, and bolted. But you're not going home. You're a man on a mission, so you ride west, into the blank spaces on any Han map. You're plunging deeper into Central Asia, into the Tarim Basin. You pass the great, terrifying salt desert of Lop Nor. You visit the oasis kingdoms that you note with a spy's eye, are all paying tribute to your former Xiongnu captors. After weeks of travel, you finally find them. You ride into a lush, fertile valley, irrigated and green, and you find the Yuezhi, the people your emperor sent you to find. But they're not the people you were expecting. They're not angry nomadic warriors, hungry for revenge. The Yuezhi have changed. They've conquered the ancient Greek kingdom of Bactria, a leftover from Alexander the Great's empire. They've given up the nomadic life. They are now farmers and merchants living in walled cities. They are rich. They are comfortable. You present your emperor's proposal. Come back with us. Let's form a grand alliance and crush our mutual enemy, the Xiongnu. The Yuezhi king basically pats you on the head. He looks around at his fertile fields, his wealthy cities, his new, safe kingdom, and he looks at you, a half-wild man who just spent 10 years in a Xiongnu ger, and he says, "Revenge? Why would we risk this to go back and fight the most dangerous army in the world in that grass desert? We're good. The alliance is a failure. The primary goal of your mission is dead." A dejected Zhang Qian, his duty unfulfilled, turns around to go home. But on his journey, both going and coming, he passes through another kingdom in Central Asia, Daiwan, in the Fergana Valley. modern-day Uzbekistan. And there, he sees them. This is the mainstream historical fact that will change the course of the war. He sees the horses. You, as a Xiongnu, are used to your horses. They are your brothers. They are small, shaggy, big-headed, and have the endurance of a rock. They can survive a 40-degree winter by eating nothing but frozen grass they dig up with their hooves. They are, in a word, tough. The horses Zhang Qian sees in Dayuan are different. They are magnificent. They are tall, long-legged, sleek, and radiating power. They are war horses bred for speed and size, not just survival. The local people, he notes, feed them alfalfa, a high-protein, specialized crop, not just random grass. These horses are to your step ponies what a Formula One race car is to a pickup truck. But there's something else. This is the quirky tidbit that electrifies the Han court. Zhang Qian reports that these horses sweat blood. He sees it. After a hard gallop, a reddish, bloody fluid oozes from their skin, particularly on their shoulders and flanks. To a practical, superstitious Han court, this is not a medical curiosity. It is a divine sign. These are not mere animals. They are Tianma, heavenly horses. They are dragonkin, sent from the gods. Modern science, of course, has a more boring but still fascinating explanation. The blood sweating was almost certainly caused by a parasitic nematode, Parafilaria multipapillosa. This tiny worm would burrow under the horse's skin, causing subcutaneous nodules that would rupture and bleed during strenuous exercise. It was, in short, a disease. But to Zhang Qian, it was proof of a supernatural quality. He's seen it. He's found the source, the ultimate weapon to fight you. So, Zhang Qian begins the long journey home, his head full of this new, vital intelligence. But his bad luck is legendary. On the way back, as he once again tries to slip through the Gansu corridor, you capture him again. It's almost comical. He spends another year in Xiongnu custody, but once again the spirits are on his side. The new Chanyu dies, and in the new chaos, Zhang Qian, now the world's most experienced Xiongnu escape artist, slips away a second time. In 125 BCE, 13 years after he left, a single man stumbles back to the Han capital. Of the 100 men who left, only 2 return, Zhang Qian and his loyal Xiongnu guide, Ganfu. His Xiongnu wife and children, the records are silent. It's assumed they were lost on the final, desperate escape. He is brought before Emperor Wu. He is a changed man, weathered and tough, looking more like a Xiongnu warrior than a Han diplomat. He delivers his report. The bad news. Your Majesty, the Eurasian alliance is a non-starter. They're not interested. The amazing news. But I have found a weapon. I have found the heavenly horses of Dayuan. An army mounted on these could catch the Xiongnu. An army on these horses could win. This report lands on Emperor Wu's desk like a thunderbolt. The quest for the Eurasian is abandoned. A new quest, a national obsession begins, the quest for the Tianma. But historians still argue whether these heavenly horses were really the war winners the Han believed them to be. Was a Fergana horse, bred in a warm valley and fed on rich alfalfa, really superior on the steppe? Could it survive a 40-degree winter? Did it have the stamina of your shaggy ponies who could run for days on almost no food? Or was this a classic case of the grass is always greener military procurement, where the exotic weapon was assumed to be the better one? Emperor Wu doesn't care about this debate. He is an emperor. He wants the divine horses and he will have them. He sends envoys to Dayuan with a mountain of gold offering to buy them. The king of Dayuan refuses. He has a monopoly and he's not giving it up. Emperor Wu is enraged. He will eventually launch 2 massive, ruinously expensive wars, sending armies 2,500 miles across the desert just to get these horses. But he can't even do that yet. Zhang Qian's report confirmed the central strategic problem, the Gansu corridor. You, the Xiongnu, are the wall between China and the horses. Before Wu can get his new cavalry, he has to break your toll booth. He has to drive you out of the corridor. And to hold that corridor, he's going to need a new strategy. He's going to need a real wall. Emperor Wu now has a clear 3-step plan. Step 1. Take the Gansu corridor. Step 2. Build a wall to hold it. Step 3. Use that new, secure corridor to go get his heavenly horses and finally, to destroy you. This is no longer a border dispute. This is a total war for control of Central Asia. He's not going to make the same mistake his great-grandfather did. He's not sending a slow-moving 300,000-man infantry army to chase you. He has spent the last 2 decades engaged in the single largest horse-breeding program in human history. He has set up massive state-run pastures, used captured Xiongnu stock, and built a Han cavalry corps that can for the first time meet you on your own terms. He's not going to wait for you to raid him. He is going to invade you. This is the mainstream historical fact. The great campaigns of Wei Qing and Huo Qubing. These 2 men are Emperor Wu's new superweapons. Wei Qing is a brilliant, methodical general, but his nephew Huo Qubing is something else entirely. He is a Xiongnu general in Han armor. This is the quirky tidbit. Huo Qubing is a teenager. He is given his first command at 18. He's the Han Dynasty's version of Alexander the Great. He's arrogant, he's a prodigy, and he fundamentally understands your way of war. He doesn't believe in supply lines. He doesn't believe in slow, methodical advances. He believes in speed, shock, and ruthless, deep penetration strikes. He's famous for telling his men, "We'll get our supplies from the enemy," and then leading them on 1,000-mile raids into your heartland, living off the land and the herds they capture from you. In 121 BCE, Emperor Wu unleashes Huo Qubing on the Gansu corridor. You, the Xiongnu king of Hunye and king of Xiutu, are the lords of this vital territory. You've grown fat on the Silk Road trade. You are not expecting what happens. Huo Qubing doesn't just attack the border. He materializes deep in your territory, his 10,000 light cavalry having ridden right through the desert. He finds your army, and he doesn't just defeat it. He annihilates it. He shatters your forces, captures your royal family, and, in a move of pure psychological warfare, he captures your most sacred object, the Golden Man, a massive golden statue that the king of Xiutu uses to worship heaven. He seizes it and takes it back to his emperor as a trophy. You are stunned. This has never happened before. The Han have always been slow, defensive, and predictable. This is your tactic. The Xiongnu back in the steppe heartland is furious. He summons his 2 generals, the kings of Hunye and Xiutu, to court, planning to execute them for their catastrophic failure. The king of Hunye panics. He knows he's a dead man, so he does the unthinkable. He murders his fellow king, takes control of their 40,000 surviving Xiongnu soldiers, and surrenders to the Han. This is a body blow. You haven't just lost the Gansu corridor, you've lost 40,000 of your best warriors and their families who are now resettled inside China, where they will be used as your new border guard. Emperor Wu now has Xiongnu fighting Xiongnu. The corridor is now Han territory, but it's a thin 1,000-mile-long strip of oases surrounded by endless desert and steppe. It's completely undefendable, unless this is where the wall you recognize is born. Emperor Wu begins a construction project that dwarfs anything the Qin ever did. This is the mainstream historical fact, the Han Great Wall. It's not a single line, it's a system. He orders his general to extend the old Qin wall west, and not just a little west. He extends it all the way to the Jade Gate, Yumenguan, the very last outpost of Chinese territory. This is the wall we picture. It's not built to keep barbarians out of China. It's built to protect this newly conquered highway. It's a 1,000-mile-long fence to protect the Silk Road, and it's built with incredible, desperate ingenuity. In the desert, they have no earth for the hangtu, rammed earth technique. So they invent something new, called jiandu. They build a frame, lay down a layer of red-colored reeds, cover it with a layer of gravel, pound it, and repeat. Reeds, gravel, reeds, gravel. They are building a 15-foot-high wall out of ancient fiberglass. And this wall is not defensive. This is the great scholarly debate. Historians still argue whether the wall was a defensive line or a forward base. The evidence is clear. It was a forward base. It was an offensive tool. Think of it as a fortified highway. Every few miles there is a watchtower, a beacon. But these aren't just signal towers. They are barracks. They are stables. They are supply depots. The wall is a single, continuous, 1,000-mile-long launching pad for the Han army. It's a place where Emperor Wu can preposition his troops, his grain, and his horses. It's an unsinkable aircraft carrier parked on the edge of the desert. From this wall he can now launch his campaigns to get the heavenly horses. From this wall, his armies, led by Wei Qing and Huo Kubing, will now ride north, deep into the Gobi, to find your Xiongnu and destroy him in his heartland. The wall isn't to keep you out. It's to let him in. You have lost your greatest economic asset, and your enemy has just built the greatest military staging ground in the history of the world. Emperor Wu's new aggressive war machine is now in high gear. His teenage prodigy, Huo Kubing, has ripped the Gansu corridor from your grasp, and that new offensive-minded wall is snaking its way west. The entire strategic balance has shifted, but while these armies of men are clashing on the borders, who is holding your empire together? While your Xiongnu and your warriors are 1,000 miles away on a campaign, who is running the country? The answer is the women, and they are not just keeping the home fires burning. They are running the world. This is the mainstream historical fact that so shocked the prim patriarchal Han Chinese observers. Xiongnu society, like most steppe cultures, granted women a level of power, autonomy, and respect that was unthinkable in the Confucian world to the south. At the very top of this structure, you have the Yanji. This is the title for the Xiongnu's primary wife, his queen. And she is not a quiet, secluded figure who just arranges flowers and practices calligraphy. The Yanji is a political and economic institution. She has her own court, separate from her husband's. She controls her own vast herds, her own lands, and her own household staff, which is really a parallel government. She manages a huge portion of the empire's wealth. You have to remember your economy, as we saw in Section 8, is based on managing herds and the products they create: felt, milk, cheese, and meat. This is traditionally women's work. By extension, the women control the entire productive economy of the Xiongnu Empire. The men are the defense department. The women are everything else. They are the treasury, the logistics corps, and the Department of Commerce all in one. When a Han envoy arrived at the Xiongnu's court, he wasn't just meeting the Xiongnu. He would have to also formally present himself to the Yanji, and he would often find her and the other high-status women sitting in on the main political discussions, interrupting the Xiongnu, offering their own, often very blunt opinions on matters of war and state. This was horrifying to the Han, who believed a woman's voice had no place in politics. To you, it's just normal. How could you not consult the person who actually runs the economy? This power wasn't just at the top. You, as a common herder, might be away for months on a raid or a great hunt. Who defends the gyr? Who decides when to move the camp to new pastures? Who negotiates with other families for grazing rights? Your wife. She is the CEO of the family unit, with total authority in your absence. This leads to a quirky tidbit that the Han found utterly barbaric: the Xiongnu practice of levirate marriage. This is a complex social rule. When a man dies, his brother is required to marry his widow. Even more shocking to the Han, a son, other than the eldest son, was often required to marry his father's widows, except of course for his own biological mother. To the Han, this was disgusting, serial incest. It was proof of your animalistic savagery. But to you, it's a vital, practical, and compassionate social security system. Think about it. Your society is built on households, not individuals. A woman, a widow with children, cannot manage and defend a massive herd of horses and sheep on her own. She'd be vulnerable, she'd lose her wealth, and her children would starve. The levirate marriage is not about romance. It's an economic and protective merger. It ensures that this powerful, competent woman and all the wealth she controls stays within the family line. It guarantees that her children are cared for and that her herds, her property, are not lost or stolen by a rival clan. It's a way of keeping the family and its power intact. It's a pragmatic solution for a high-mortality world where men are constantly dying in battle. This, of course, leads to the great scholarly debate. Historians still argue whether the Yanji and other high-status women were just advisors, or if they were, in effect, corollars. The evidence is tantalizing. We have the possibly fictional story from Baideng, where Modu's wife convinces him to let Emperor Gaozu go. But that story exists because it was plausible to the Han that a Yanji could do that. Later, in the Han records, there are definite accounts of a Yanji ruling as regent for her young son, the new Xiongnu. She would hold court, issue edicts, and negotiate treaties herself. This also explains why the Heqin policy, sending Han princesses to marry the Xiongnu, was such a failure. The Han hoped these princesses would civilize you and give them a political in. But a Han princess showing up with her silk robes and her entourage was just one more minor wife. She was not the Yanji. She was a political outsider marrying into a powerful pre-existing female power structure, and she had no real influence. The real power remained with the Xiongnu-born Yanji, who had been running the show all along. This social fabric, this powerful partnership between the sexes is one of your greatest strengths. It makes your society resilient. It's what has allowed you to manage a continent-spanning empire for a century. But this entire system is now under a new grinding pressure. Emperor Wu's relentless multi-decade war isn't just killing your warriors. It's starting to break your economy. It's starting to cause cracks in your political leadership. And as the men in power begin to feud, the empire itself is about to split wide open. That resilient social fabric we just talked about, that powerful female-led economy, is what's been holding you together. But a fabric can only be stretched so far before it tears. And Emperor Wu's war, that 50-year-long meat grinder, has been stretching it to the breaking point. This isn't a war of battles anymore. It's a war of economics. And you are losing. Emperor Wu may have died in 87 BCE, and his grand invasions have stopped, but his strategy worked. His generals, especially the brilliant and ruthless Huo Kubing, didn't just win battles, they destroyed your economy. This is the part that's hard to see from a distance, but you are living it. When Huo Kubing raided your western territories, he didn't just kill a few thousand warriors. The Han records state he captured or killed millions of your livestock. Think about that. Millions of your sheep, your goats, your cattle, and your horses. That's not just loot. That is your entire national treasury. That's your food supply. That's your tax base. That's your military transport. It's like a modern enemy didn't just bomb your army, but also simultaneously burned your treasury, blew up all your farms, and destroyed every car factory. You have been economically hollowed out. Add to this a new, terrifying enemy, the climate. The steppe is entering a period of bitter cold and deep drought. Your pastures are failing. Your herds are shrinking. You are facing the dzud, the catastrophic winter, far more often. So, for the 30 or 40 years after Emperor Wu's death, your empire is a shadow. It's a giant, wounded animal. The Xiongnu, who, remember from Section 10, rules only by the favor of the sky god Tengri, is now failing at his one basic job. He cannot provide for his people. He cannot guarantee food. He cannot distribute the wealth from raids or trade because there is no wealth. And when the man at the top looks weak, the men just below him, the other princes of the royal line, start to get ambitious. They start to think, Tengri has clearly abandoned this Xiongnu. Perhaps Tengri has chosen me. This is the mainstream historical fact, the Great Xiongnu Civil War, the schism. It begins, as it so often does, with a succession crisis. Around 60 BCE, a new Xiongnu takes the throne. He is cruel, paranoid, and incompetent. He alienates the other nobles. He tries to execute his rivals, and he fails. This is the moment your unified empire, the machine Modu built, eats itself. A rival prince, a man named Huanye, rises up and declares himself Xiongnu. Suddenly, there are two Xiongnu's. Then another prince, seeing the chaos, also declares himself Xiongnu. Then his brother. Then a cousin. In the year 58 BCE, your empire has 5 different Xiongnu's, all at the same time, all claiming to be the one son of heaven. It's like a terrible season of a reality TV show, Step Survivor, where every contestant has a private army of 20,000 men. The entire step dissolves into a multi-sided, chaotic, and bloody free-for-all. Your Arav, your unit of 10, is now forced to fight your neighbor's Arav. Brother turns against brother. The Xiongnu are, for the first time, using their composite bows on each other. And where are the Han? They are sitting in their new fortified Gansu corridor, watching. They are sitting back with a giant bowl of metaphorical popcorn, enjoying the show. Their policy of total war is over. It was too expensive. They now have a new, much cheaper and much more cynical policy, using barbarians to fight barbarians. This is the great scholarly debate. Historians still argue whether the Han actively caused this civil war, or if they just brilliantly exploited it. Did they have spies in your camps whispering in the ears of ambitious princes, promising them gold and weapons if they'd just rebel? Or did they simply see the empire starting to crack under its own economic and political stress, and then smartly decide to back the weaker horse? The evidence points to the latter. They see this five-way brawl, and they wait for a loser to come to them for help. The civil war rages. It's a blur of fire and blood. After a few years, the 5 Xiongnu's have been whittled down to two brothers, Zhiji Xiongnu and Huanye Xiongnu. Zhiji is the stronger one. He's a better general. He's a true Xiongnu, a traditionalist who hates the Han. And he wins. He defeats his younger brother Huanye in a series of decisive battles. Huanye is now a man with no army, no land, and no future. He's a king with no kingdom. He has one desperate, unthinkable option left. In 53 BCE, Huanye, the defeated Xiongnu, rides south with his few remaining followers. He rides to the new Han Wall, to the Jade Gate, and he formally surrenders to the Han Dynasty. This is a cataclysm. It's a public declaration that the Xiongnu cannot govern themselves. But it gets worse. This is the quirky tidbit that echoes through history: Huanye's state visit. In 51 BCE, he is invited to the Han capital of Chang'an to formally pay homage to the emperor. He is the first Xiongnu to ever set foot in China as a guest, not an invader. He is brought into the vast, glittering, incense-filled throne room. He walks before the Han emperor, the son of heaven, and he kowtows. He, the leader of the proudest people on earth, the son of Tengri, performs the 9 prostrations. He kneels, and he touches his forehead to the floor, acknowledging that the Han emperor is his master. It's the most awkward, humiliating meet the in-laws in world history. The Han, in their brilliance, are gracious victors. They don't execute him. They don't imprison him. They honor him. They name him Xiongnu. They give him a massive gift, a bribe, of 20,000 sacks of grain, a mountain of gold, and an army. And they give him a new job. The schism is now permanent. There are 2 Xiongnu empires. There is the northern Xiongnu, led by the true Xiongnu, Zhiji. They are the rebels, the traditionalists, the ones who refuse to bow. They control the old heartland in Mongolia, and they are furious. And there is the southern Xiongnu, led by your new master, Huanye. You are now a vassal of the Han. Your job is to live on the border, inside the wall, and act as a buffer state. Your new job is to fight the northern Xiongnu. The Han have just turned their greatest enemy into their new border patrol. You are now a different kind of Xiongnu. Your world has been turned upside down. You have followed your Xiongnu, Huanye, in his humiliating ride south. You saw him kowtow to the Han emperor. And now, you are moving. But you are not migrating north, to the high, cold, familiar pastures. You are moving south, into the Ordos Loop, that fertile, dusty bend of the Yellow River. You are moving inside the old Great Wall. Your new home is strange. It's warmer. There's more water. There are even farms here. You are no longer the master of a 1,000,000 square mile empire. You are a vassal. You are the southern Xiongnu, and you have a new job. This is the mainstream historical fact of your new life. You are a Waichen, an outer vassal. This is a formal legal status. You are no longer the brother state that the Han once recognized in the Heikin Treaty. You are now a subject. The Han Emperor is your father. Your Xiongnu, Han, is his son. And this is not just a polite fiction. To guarantee your loyalty, your Xiongnu must do what you used to demand of your enemies. He must send his own son to the Han capital of Chang'an as a hostage. You are a fenced-in lion. You are still proud, still dangerous, but the Han have built a cage for you. Your cage is this new territory, and your job is to be the guard dog. Your primary duty is no longer to rule the steppe. Your primary duty is to defend the Han border from your own cousins, from the northern Xiongnu. The Han have brilliantly outsourced their border defense. Why should they send their own expensive soldiers to freeze in watchtowers when they can pay you, the greatest cavalrymen in the world, to do it for them? You are now a buffer. When the northern Xiongnu, led by the defiant Zhiji Qianyu, ride south for a raid, they don't hit a Han fortress. They hit you. The Han have turned the Xiongnu civil war into their permanent border policy. They send you vast gifts of grain, silk, and gold, and in exchange you bleed for them. It's a brilliant, cynical strategy, but it's not all bad. For you, the common herder, this new life is stable. It's safe. You don't have to worry about the catastrophic Zood in the same way. If the winter is bad, the Han will send grain. You don't have to worry about your rival clans because the Han army is there to enforce your Qianyu's rule. You are trading your wild, dangerous freedom for security, and this new, friendly relationship is sealed once again with a marriage. But this one is different. This is the quirky tidbit that becomes one of the most famous, tragic, and romanticized stories in all of Chinese history. The story of Wang Zhaojun. Your Qianyu Han has paid his respects in the capital. He has proven his loyalty. And as a final seal on this new vassalage, he asks the Han Emperor for a new wife, an imperial wife. This time, it's not a bribe like the old Heian treaties. It's a reward for being a good, obedient subject. The new emperor, Emperor Yuan, agrees. But like his ancestors, he has no desire to send his real daughter to the savage north, so he does the next best thing. He offers one of his thousands of palace ladies in waiting the harem. He tells them, "Any of you who volunteer to marry the Qianyu, I will treat as my own daughter." Most of the women, who have been living in the perfumed, silk-filled luxury of the palace, are horrified. Go live in a ger with barbarians? But one woman, Wang Zhaojun, steps forward. The legend says she was incredibly beautiful but also proud and honest. She had been in the palace for years, but the emperor had never even seen her. Why? Because the court painter Mao Yanshu was corrupt. He painted the portraits of all the new ladies, and the emperor would choose his companions from these paintings. The other women all bribed the artist to paint them more beautiful. Wang Zhaojun, in her pride, refused. So Mao Yanshu painted her as plain, ugly, and sad. The emperor, looking at his stack of failed portraits, sees her name and says, "Fine, her, the ugly one. Send her to the barbarian." The day comes for the formal presentation. Wang Zhaojun is brought before the emperor to be formally given to your Qianyu Han, and she is not in her plain palace robes. She is dressed in the full magnificent regalia of a royal bride. And the emperor sees her, really sees her, for the first time, and his jaw hits the floor. She is, he realizes, the most beautiful woman in his entire palace. He's just given away his greatest jewel because of a corrupt painter. He's furious. Legend says he had the painter executed, but it's too late. The diplomatic wheels are turning. Wang Zhaojun is handed over to Han. She rides north with you, leaving China forever. She becomes the new Yanji, and, in a testament to her character, she becomes a beloved Xiongnu queen. She learns your language, she adopts your customs. And when Han dies, she does the barbarian thing that so horrified the Han. She fulfills the levirate custom and marries the next Qianyu, her own stepson, to maintain peace and stability for the tribe. She becomes a symbol, not of humiliation, but of sacrifice and peace. This brings us to the great scholarly debate. Historians still argue whether this new arrangement, this southern Xiongnu vassal state, was a golden age for your people, or if it was the beginning of the end. The golden age argument is strong. You have peace. You have security. The Han are flooding your new territory with wealth. You are safe. You are fed. You have stability for the first time in a generation. The beginning of the end argument is, perhaps, even stronger. You are losing what makes you Xiongnu. You are no longer masters of the high step. You are border guards. You are becoming Sinicized. You are learning to speak Chinese. You are intermarrying. You are relying on farming and grain shipments instead of your herds. Your bows are getting dusty. Your sons are growing up not as conquerors, but as subjects. You have traded your eagle wings for a warm, comfortable perch inside a cage. For now you are safe. This new hybrid life will continue for decades. But as you settle into your new role as the Han's pet barbarian, you can't help but look north to the high steppe, where your brother Zhiji, the real Xiongnu, still rides free. And you know, deep down, that the Han are not finished. You're safe. You, the southern Xiongnu, are now living in your protected enclave, your little vassal state inside the Han border. You are fed, you are paid, and your Xiongnu is a respected, if not quite equal, son-in-law to the Han emperor, thanks to the diplomatic sacrifice of Wang Zhaojun. Your new job is to be the Han's official barbarian border patrol. It's a stable life. But you can't help but look north past the wall to the high cold steppe, because your brother is still out there. We're talking about Zhiji Xiongnu. He is your Xiongnu's older brother, the one who lost the Great Civil War. He's the traditionalist, the hardliner, the one who refused to bend the knee. While your leader, Hu Hanye, was kowtowing in the Han palace, Zhiji was spitting in the dust and riding west. He is the leader of the northern Xiongnu, which at this point just means any Xiongnu who still has a spine, and he is trying to rebuild the empire far away from the crushing power of the Han. He moves his entire horde, tens of thousands of families, their jurs, and their herds, on a massive migration. He pushes deep into Central Asia, into what is now Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan. He is a king in exile, and he is angry. He bullies the local tribes, like the Kangju and the Wusun, into an alliance. He sets up a new capital city near the Talas River, and from here, he continues to defy the Han. He raids their allies. He even, in a fit of pure arrogance, murders a Han envoy sent to his new court. This is an existential threat to the Han Dynasty. They cannot abide a rival son of heaven. It doesn't matter if he's 2,000 miles away. The Han worldview, their entire mandate of heaven, is based on the idea that their emperor is the only one. A northern Xiongnu Xiongnu still claiming the old titles is a living, breathing insult to that authority. He must be erased. This leads to the mainstream historical fact, the Battle of Zhiji in 36 BCE. This is not a grand million-man imperial campaign. It's a dirty, long-range assassination mission led by a hard-as-nails border general named Chen Tang. Chen Tang is the commander of the Han forces in the western regions, that newly conquered Gansu corridor. He sees Zhiji's power growing, and he decides with his co-commander to act without permission from the throne. He knows that if he waits for the bureaucrats in the capital to approve an invasion, Zhiji will be too strong. So, he forges an imperial edict, levies troops from all the Oasis kingdoms, and creates a fast-moving 40,000-man coalition army. This army then does the impossible. It marches across the barren, freezing Pamir Mountains and the waterless deserts of Central Asia in the dead of winter to find Zhiji's new capital. When they arrive, they don't find a gear camp. They find a fortress. Zhiji, in a fatal error, has decided to fight like his enemies. He has built a wall, a massive earthen rampart with a double wooden palisade. This is a classic don't fight a land war in Asia blunder. You're a horseman. Your strength is mobility. By building a wall, Zhiji has just turned himself into a stationary target for the single greatest siege warfare army in the world. The Han army surrounds the fortress. And this is where the quirky tidbit happens, one of the most tantalizing and controversial what-ifs in all of history. As the Han prepare their attack, the Xiongnu deploy their troops, and Chen Tang's men report seeing something bizarre. A contingent of about 150 of Zhiji's warriors marches out of the gate in a fish-scale formation, Yulin Zhen, locking their large rectangular shields together to form a solid wall. This is not a step tactic. This is not how you fight. This, of course, is the great scholarly debate. Historians still argue whether these were Roman legionaries. It sounds like pure fantasy. But let's look at the timeline. Just 17 years earlier, in 53 BCE, the Parthian Empire, in Persia, had crushed a Roman army at the Battle of Carrhae. They captured over 10,000 Roman legionaries led by Crassus. We don't know what happened to most of them. The Parthians were known to use their prisoners as border guards, sending them to the farthest, most remote corners of their empire, which just so happened to border Central Asia. Is it possible? Did a lost legion of captured Romans get sold, traded, or hired out as mercenaries, ending up as the last line of defense for a Xiongnu king, 2,000 miles from Rome? It's the ancient aliens of classical history. Most historians think it's a massive stretch. Fish scale probably just meant overlapping lamellar armor, or it was a local Sogdian unit with big shields. But maybe. A town in modern China, Lycian, even claims to be a lost Roman village founded by these very soldiers, though there's no real genetic or archaeological proof. Roman or not, it doesn't matter. The Han attack. They are professionals. They soak the wooden walls with crossbow bolts, their arbalists pinning the defenders down. They bring up massive shielded battering rams. They tunnel under the earthworks. They light the walls on fire. The fish-scale formation is broken and cut to pieces. The city is stormed. Your defiant brother Xiongnu is cornered inside his burning palace. He is wounded by an arrow to the face and finally cut down by Han soldiers. The battle is over. General Chen Tong beheads the body of the last true Xiongnu. He preserves the head and sends it all the way back to the capital, Chang'an, where it is mounted on the palace gates for all to see. The humiliation is complete, and Chen Tang sends a victory report to his emperor, a message that includes the most famous and most chilling line in Han diplomatic history. We have pursued him. A foreign power that dares to challenge our great Han, though they be far away, will be hunted down and exterminated. Ming Fan Chiang Han Zhe, Suiyuan Biju. It's the ultimate mic drop. The northern Xiongnu are gone. Their king is dead. Their army is shattered. Their followers are scattered to the winds, absorbed by local tribes, or killed. You, the southern Xiongnu, are now the only Xiongnu left. The Han have won. It's over. Or is it? The name Northern Xiongnu is gone, but the people are not. They are a leaderless, broken refugee population drifting west into the great unknown grasslands. The steppe, like nature, abhors a vacuum. And this is where the next and perhaps greatest mystery of your people is about to begin. The head of Xiongnu, your defiant northern Xiongnu brother, is rotting on a spike above the gates of Chang'an. His army is shattered. His followers, the last true free Xiongnu, are scattered to the four winds. You see them, in your mind's eye, as a ghost population. They are no longer an empire or even a confederation. They are just refugees. Families, clans, and broken Aravs are drifting west, away from the terrifying long-range power of the Han. They flee past the Aral Sea, past the Volga River, and into the vast, unmapped grasslands of the western steppe. And then, for you, sitting in your vassal state, they are gone. They fall off the edge of the world. They vanish from the meticulous, ink-soaked records of the Han historians. They vanish for 300 years. Now let's fast forward. It's the late 4th century CE, around 370. The Han Dynasty, your old master, is long dead. It collapsed in on itself over a century ago, just like the Qin before it. China is once again a fractured, broken mess. And far, far to the west, near the Black Sea, the Roman Empire is feeling old, tired, and overstretched. And then they appear. A new people. A name whispered in terror. Roman observers like Ammianus Marcellinus write about them with a kind of pant-sweating dread. They are men of a wild race, uncouthly, so prodigiously ugly and bent that they might be two-legged animals. They are glued to their horses. They are perfect in the art of shooting. with their dreadful bows. They appear from the east, from the endless steppe, and they crash into the Gothic tribes living north of the Danube. They send the Goths, the Vandals, and the Alans fleeing in a panic, sparking the Great Migration period that will ultimately tear the Western Roman Empire to pieces. They are, of course, the Huns. And this brings us to the single greatest, most tantalizing, and most furious scholarly debate in all of steppe history, the mainstream historical fact of this mystery. Are the Huns you? Are these the direct descendants of your lost northern Xiongnu brothers, the ones who vanished into the west after Gigi was killed? This is the Hun connection. It's a historical cold case, and the evidence is a mess. Let's look at the pro case. Why do so many historians, from the 18th century Frenchman Joseph de Guigné to many modern scholars, believe the link is real? First, the names. This is the biggest clue. Xiongnu is a Chinese word. Its Old Chinese pronunciation has been reconstructed as something like Xiongnu or Xiongnu. That sounds suspiciously close to Huna, what the Persians called them, or Hanoi, what the Greeks called them. It's a tantalizing linguistic match. Second, the geography. The northern Xiongnu, were last seen, moving west. The Huns were first seen, arriving from the east. The timeline has a gap, but the trajectory is perfect. It's a 300-year ghost migration, but it points in the right direction. Third, the culture. The descriptions of the Huns are a checklist of Xiongnu traits. They are nomadic horse-searchers. They live in gurs or something very like them. They use the composite recurve bow. They fight with the feigned retreat. They are a multi-ethnic confederation led by a supreme Xiongnu-like king, like Attila. It's the classic steppe warrior starter pack. But the Khan case is just as strong. First, the black hole. 300 years. That is an enormous gap in the historical record. We have zero text that connects Xiongnu to Hun. It's not like a baton pass. It's like one runner vanished, and 3 centuries later, a new runner appeared on a different continent, wearing a similar colored shirt. You can't just draw a straight line. Second, the culture argument is weak. All steppe peoples were nomadic horse-searchers. That's like saying the English and the Germans must be the same people because they both used swords and wore metal helmets. The environment creates the culture. The steppe makes you a Xiongnu. The steppe makes you a Hun. Third, the art. This is a quirky tidbit that divides scholars. Your Xiongnu art, which we'll get to, is the animal style. Lots of bronze plaques of fighting stags and griffins. Hunnic art found in their graves in Europe is the polychrome style, covered in gold and inlaid with thousands of tiny, colorful gemstones like garnets and turquoise. It's a different aesthetic. Did your taste just get fancier over 300 years? Or is this a different group of people? So, historians still argue whether the link is direct, indirect, or pure coincidence. Theory A, the direct descendants. A core of royal Xiongnu managed to stay together for 300 years, trekking across Asia, keeping their name and identity until they re-emerged in Europe. Theory B, the elite transfer. This is more popular. A small group of Xiongnu elites, maybe 1 or 2 royal clans, survived. They conquered other steppe peoples, Alans, Scythians, Goths, and imposed their name and their political structure on them. The Huns then were a new confederation, like Modus, but with a Xiongnu brand name. Theory C, the bogeyman theory. Xiongnu or Hun just became a generic term for scary horse nomad from the east. It's a boogeyman word, a label, not an ethnic identity. For centuries, this debate was just academics yelling at each other over dusty books. But now we have DNA. This is the new frontier. Scientists have successfully extracted ancient DNA from both Xiongnu-era tombs in Mongolia and Hunnic-era elite graves in Hungary. And the results? It's not a coincidence. The DNA shows that both the Xiongnu and the Huns were exactly what the Confederation model suggests, a massive mix of people. Both groups have a blend of East Asian, Mongoloid, and West Eurasian, Europoid genes. They were multi-ethnic melting pots. But the specific East Asian genetic haplogroups found in the Hunnic graves in Hungary can be traced directly back to the same haplogroups found in the Xiongnu heartland in Mongolia. The people did move. There is a chain of genes that connects your Xiongnu Empire to Attila's Huns. The most likely scenario is Theory B, a core Xiongnu elite, a ghost lineage of your northern ancestors, migrated west, conquered, intermarried, and built a new empire, Attila's empire, on the ruins of the old. So, you did, in a way, help bring down the Roman Empire. But while everyone is staring at these famous northern ghosts who went west, they've all forgotten about you. You, the southern Xiongnu, the ones who stayed, the ones living inside China. You've been quiet for 300 years. You've been the pet barbarian, and you are about to wake up. You, the Xiongnu, are now a people divided by history. Your northern cousins, the ghosts of Zhiji, are on their 300-year-long migration west, slowly morphing into the Huns who will one day terrify Rome. And you, the southern Xiongnu, are here, living inside the Chinese border, a quiet, settled, and seemingly civilized vassal people. It seems, to any casual observer, that your story is over. You've been either scattered to the winds or completely assimilated. You lost. But let's pull back. Let's look at the scar you left on the civilization you fought for 400 years. You didn't just fight China, you changed it. You permanently altered the DNA of the Han Dynasty and every dynasty that would ever follow. Your legacy is not just a few dusty tombs, it's written into the very fabric of Chinese statecraft, its military, and its mind. This is the mainstream historical fact. You created the concept of the northern frontier. Before you, back in the Warring States period, Section 3, a state like Qin was worried about the Chu to its south or the Zhao to its east. The barbarians to the north were a nuisance, a bunch of scattered raiders. Then your Xiongnu Modu did the impossible. He unified the steppe. He created a single continent-sized empire that, for the first time, presented China with a single existential threat. You were the great other. You were the mirror image. They were the Hua, civilized, agricultural, city-dwelling. You were the Hu, barbarian, nomadic, girdwelling. You forced China to define itself not just against other Chinese, but against you. You created the barbarian trope, the archetype of the fast, cruel, horse-riding savage from the north that would haunt the Chinese imagination for the next 2,000 years. Every future steppe empire, the Xianbei, the Rouran, the Guk Turks, the Khitans, the Jurchens, and finally the Mongols, would be slotted into the political and cultural box that you forced the Han to build. When Han historians like Sima Qian wrote about you, they were writing the script for how China would understand all nomads, forever. And to fight you, the Han had to become you. This is the quirky tidbit that reveals your true influence. We talked about Emperor Wuling of Zhao, long before the Han forcing his court to wear your trousers. Section 3. That was just the beginning. The Han, a civilization built on infantry and chariots, had to create a cavalry corps from scratch, modeled directly on you. They had to launch the largest state-run horse breeding program in world history, a ruinously expensive, century-long project, just to have a chance of catching you. They had to change their clothes, their military, and their foreign policy. The Heikin Treaty, Section 7, that was a policy invented to deal with you. The epic journey of Zhang Qian, Section 13, a desperate mission to find your enemies. The Great Wall you see in pictures, Section 15, that wasn't built to keep you out of China. It was built to hold the Gansu Corridor, territory the Han conquered from you, to use as a highway to attack you. You were the catalyst. You were the rock, and the Han Dynasty was the river that had to carve a new 1,000-mile-long canyon around you. This leads to the great scholarly debate. Historians still argue whether this 400-year relationship was a clash of civilizations or a deeply symbiotic one. Was it just war and raiding? Or did you need each other? You, the steppe, were a one-crop economy, livestock. You needed the agricultural surplus of China, grain, rice, and its luxury goods, silk, to create a stable empire. You couldn't make them, so you raided or traded for them. And China? This is the cynical part. Did the Han need you? An emperor needs a justification for high taxes, for a massive standing army, for a centralized autocratic government. And what better justification is there than a terrifying existential barbarian threat on the border? You were the ultimate political boogeyman. It's possible that the Chinese Empire and the Steppe Confederation were two parts of a single functioning system. You were the yang to their yin, two opposites locked in a brutal, permanent, and mutually dependent embrace. This is your legacy. You changed the map, you changed the army, you changed the idea of China. And while the ghosts of your northern brothers are off rewriting the history of Europe, you, the tame southern Xiongnu, have been sitting quietly. You've been watching, you've been learning, you've been intermarrying, you've been biding your time for 300 years. The Han Dynasty is gone. The Jin Dynasty that replaced it is weak, decadent, and tearing itself apart in a new civil war. And you? You are still the greatest cavalryman on earth. And your new Xiongnu, a man named Liu Yuan, has just had a very, very ambitious idea. He's not just a Xiongnu noble. Thanks to all that intermarriage, he's also a descendant of the Han imperial family. And he's starting to think that he, a barbarian, has a better claim to the throne of China than the Chinese themselves. You've been quiet for 3 centuries, 300 years. You, the southern Xiongnu, have been living inside the Chinese frontier in your little enclave in Shaanxi. You've been the good barbarian. You've served as mercenaries in the Chinese armies. You've intermarried to the point where your Xiongnu now has the proud Chinese surname Liu, claiming a direct royal bloodline back to the Han Dynasty's founder, through one of those long-forgotten Heian princesses. You've been reading the Chinese classics. You've been watching, and you've been watching China rot. The mighty Han Dynasty is a distant memory. The Jin Dynasty, which replaced it, is a catastrophic failure. It's early in the 4th century CE, around 304. The Jin court is decadent, corrupt, and most importantly, it has just torn itself apart in a vicious civil war called the War of the Eight Princes. The Chinese heartland is defenseless. The imperial armies have slaughtered each other. The granaries are empty. The people are starving. The mandate of heaven is lying in the gutter, waiting for anyone strong enough to pick it up. And you look at your own people. You are still here. You are still the greatest horsemen on the plains. Your bows are not dusty. You've been serving as elite cavalry in these Chinese civil wars, and you've learned exactly how weak they are. This is where your new leader, a brilliant, cynicized, and deeply ambitious man named Liu Yuan, steps forward. This is the mainstream historical fact. Liu Yuan is a Xiongnu Xiongnu who is also a high-ranking Jin official. He's a scholar, he's a general, and he's looking at the chaos, and he's looking at his own Liu surname, and he has one of the most audacious ideas in history. He says, "The Jin have failed. They are not the true rulers. The Han Dynasty, my ancestors, were the true rulers. The Jin are just usurpers. Therefore I, Liu Yuan, a descendant of the Han, will restore the Han Dynasty." This is the ultimate mind-bending irony. You are not rebelling as a barbarian trying to destroy China. You are rebelling as the true heir, trying to save it. In 304 CE, Liu Yuan declares himself the king of Han. This is the spark. This is the beginning of the uprising of the 5 barbarians, or Wuhu, a period that will shatter China for 300 years. And you, the Xiongnu, are the ones who light the first and biggest fire. Liu Yuan dies before he can complete his conquest, but his son, Liu Kong, takes over. And in 311 CE, he gives the order. Your Xiongnu cavalry, your 300 years of pent-up frustration and humiliation are unleashed. You ride south. You are not raiding for silken grain. You are conquering. The Jin army, a pathetic shadow, collapses. You ride straight to the gates of the imperial capital, Luoyang. This vast ancient city is the heart of Chinese civilization. It's the city your ancestors like Hu Hanye visited in awe and submission. And you burn it to the ground. This is the disaster of Yongjia. This is the quirky tidbit that is, in reality, one of the most traumatic events in Chinese history. It is your sack of Rome. Your cavalry thunders through the boulevards. The palaces, filled with 400 years of priceless art and literature, go up in flames. You massacre over 30,000 officials, nobles, and citizens. And in the ultimate act of vengeance, you storm the imperial palace and you capture the Jin emperor. His name is Emperor Huai, And this is where your revenge for your ancestor, Hu Hanya, becomes complete. This is the great, grim scholarly debate. Historians still argue whether the lurid details are fully true, but the story is legendary and defines the age. The captured Jin emperor is not killed, not at first. He is dragged in chains back to your new Xiongnu capital at Pingyang, and your new emperor, Liu Kong, gives him a job. The former son of heaven, the ruler of the Middle Kingdom, is forced to dress in the uniform of a servant. And at the great Xiongnu victory banquets, he is forced to serve wine to his new Xiongnu masters. Let that sink in. 300 years ago, your Xiongnu had to kowtow on the floor of the Han Palace. Section 17. Now the Han successor, the Jin Emperor, is pouring your drinks before you have him executed. It is the most absolute, devastating, and humiliating reversal of fortune in history. This event breaks China. The entire Jin court and millions of Chinese refugees flee south across the Yangtze River to found a new, weaker, Eastern Jin dynasty. The entire north of China is abandoned. It is now a chaotic, brutal hellscape, a 16 kingdoms period ruled by barbarian kings. And you, the descendants of the tame southern Xiongnu, were the ones who did it. You didn't just get revenge for your people. You ended Chinese antiquity. You have done it. You, the descendant of the tame southern Xiongnu, have burned the capital of China. You have taken your final bloody revenge, and in the process, you have fractured the world. You've proven that your power, your Xiongnu-ness, was never tamed. It was just sleeping. For centuries, the settled, civilized world to your south has been writing about you. They've called you barbarians, savages, fierce slaves. They have filled libraries with descriptions of your actions, your wars, your politics, and your, to them, disgusting habits. But what did you yourselves create? You had no writing, so you left no books. Your homes were made of felt and wood, and they have returned to the earth. Your empire was a living, breathing thing of horses and people, and it has vanished like smoke. What did you leave behind, buried in the frozen dirt that speaks for you? You left your art, and it is spectacular. This is the mainstream historical fact. The Xiongnu were masters of the animal style. This is the artistic tradition that dominated the entire Eurasian steppe, from the Black Sea to Mongolia. It is an art not of people, not of landscapes, not of gods, but of animals, and not gentle pastoral animals. This is an art of violence, of power, and of dynamic, swirling energy. You find these objects in the graves of your elite warriors. They are not paintings or statues, they are small, personal, and precious. They are bronze plaques, belt buckles, and gold ornaments. They are the finials for the top of your gear poles or your battle standards, and they all show the same things. Stags with enormous branching antlers, coiled tigers, predatory griffins, part eagle, part lion, locked in combat, wolves, ibex, horses. And these animals are never ever still. They are always in motion. They are contorted, twisted, and zoomed in. You'll see a plaque that is nothing but a dozen horses' heads all intertwined. You'll see a stag, its body arched in a perfect C shape, its legs folded underneath it, its antlers sweeping back to touch its tail. The style is not realistic. It's super stylized. It's all about capturing the essence of the animal, its speed, its power, its ferocity. This brings us to the quirky tidbit, the belt buckle. This is the quintessential Xiongnu art object. You, as a Xiongnu warrior, wore a leather belt, and your status, your wealth, your very identity, was broadcast to the world by the massive, elaborate plaque that served as your buckle. These weren't subtle. They were big, rectangular bronze or gold plates, often cast with a scene of incredible violence. A tiger devouring a wild donkey, a wolf attacking an ibex. This wasn't just art for art's sake. It was a talisman. By wearing this scene of predatory power on your body, you were channeling that power. You were telling the world, I am the tiger. I am the wolf. I have the strength of the predator. A Han Chinese noble wore a simple, elegant jade hook on his silk sash. You wore a 6-inch wide bronze scene of pure, animalistic carnage. It was the ancient world's most intense, high-fashion accessory, a combination of a Rolex, a gang tattoo, and a spiritual emblem all in one. This art is so distinctive, so powerful, that it's created a long-running scholarly debate. Historians still argue whether you invented this style or if you inherited it. To your west, the Scythians, the Iranian-speaking nomads, were the undisputed original masters of this. Their Scythian gold is the stuff of legend. Did you, the Xiongnu, simply copy their style? Or did you develop your own parallel tradition? The evidence points to a blend. Your art is different from the Scythian. The Scythian art is more realistic, more fluid. Your Xiongnu art is more abstract, more geometric, and often inlaid with color. You love to set your gold plaques with bright, beautiful pieces of turquoise or carnelian, a style you probably picked up from Persia, via that Silk Road trade you controlled. You were an artistic hub. You took Scythian themes from the west, Chinese metalworking techniques from the south, and Persian gemstone inlay from the southwest, and you blended it all into something uniquely Xiongnu. We see this at its peak in the tombs we found before, at Noyon-ul in Mongolia. The looters took the easy gold, but they left behind treasures that show your connections to the entire world. There are Han lacquer cups and Persian textiles, yes, but there are also your own masterpieces. Wool tapestries woven by your people, showing scenes of Xiongnu noblemen, with clear Europoid features, red hair, and blue eyes, proving again that you were a multi-ethnic empire. You find golden torques, bronze mirrors, and everywhere those animal plaques. This art is the one voice you left. It tells us what you valued. You didn't value farming or cities or writing. You valued power. You valued speed. You valued the wild, untamable energy of the animals you lived with. You hunted and you fought. Your art is a perfect, frozen snapshot of your worldview, and it's one of the last clues we have. Because after your final fiery explosion in 311 CE, your sack of Luoyang, your story begins to fade. Your political power breaks apart, and we are left with just one last great mystery. You've left your art, your golden buckles, your bronze plaques of fighting tigers, your stunning turquoise inlaid ornaments. They are your mark, a visual record of your soul. But what about your voice? What did you sound like? When Modu Xiongnu gave his terrifying order to his 10,000 men, what language did he speak? When you whispered to your wife inside the jur, what words did you use? Of all the great mysteries you left behind, this is the most profound. This is the mainstream historical fact that frustrates every historian to their core. We do not know what language the Xiongnu spoke. We have 400 years of your political history, your wars, your triumphs, and your defeats. But we do not have a single definitive word written by a Xiongnu hand. You were a non-literate society. This doesn't mean you were stupid or primitive. It means your culture was oral. Your histories were epics, sung by bards around the fire. Your laws were memorized, not written. Your treaties were sworn before the sky god, not filed in a cabinet. This was a choice. But it means that when your empire collapsed, your voice died. Everything we know about you comes from your enemies. It's all filtered through the ink brushes of Han Dynasty historians like Sima Qian. We see you through a foreign and deeply hostile mirror. The Han scholars listened to your language, and to them it was just barbarian screeching. They did not try to learn it. They just tried to transcribe the few words they had to. And this is the quirky tidbit that forms the basis of all the arguments. Our entire database of the Xiongnu language consists of a handful of transcribed words. That's it. We have titles like Chanyu, your word for emperor, which the Chinese wrote as Chanyu. We have Yanji, your word for queen. We have personal names like Modu. And we have a few other scraps like your word for sky, Kilian, which the Han wrote down. This is the central puzzle. Trying to reconstruct your language from these scraps is like an archaeologist in the year 5000 trying to reconstruct 21st century English, having only the words sushi, karaoke, and ninja as written in Chinese characters. It's a linguistic nightmare. A Chinese character represents an idea and a sound, but the sound changes over 2,000 years. We have to first reconstruct the old Chinese pronunciation of the character, and then try to guess what barbarian word that ancient sound was meant to approximate. This, of course, has led to a 200-year-long full-contact knockdown scholarly debate. Historians still argue whether your language was, well, anything. they've thrown every theory at the wall. Theory 1. You were Turkic. This was the old, traditional favorite. The later Gökturks, who founded the next great steppe empire, were verifiably Turkic-speaking, and they claim to be your descendants. This fits. It's neat. Some scholars tried for decades to make the words fit. They'd say, well, Xiongnu, maybe that's a transcription of the Turkic title Yabgu or Tarkan. It's a stretch. It's like trying to prove president and pharaoh are the same word because they both start with P. Theory 2. You were Mongolic. This is the other classic theory. You lived in Mongolia, after all. The armies of Genghis Khan 1,000 years later would burst from this exact same heartland. Surely you must be their ancestors, speaking an early version of their language. Again, it's a neat geographic fit, but the linguistic evidence is just as thin. The few words we have just don't click neatly into the Mongolic language family. Theory 3. You were Iranian-speaking. This theory focuses on your neighbors. The Eurasian whom you drove west were almost certainly Iranian speakers. The Scythians to their west were too. This was the prestige language of the western steppe, and your art, the animal style, is so similar to theirs. Is it possible your ruling class, the original Xiongnu core, was an Iranian-speaking tribe that took over the region? Maybe. Theory 4. The Yeniseian connection. This is the hot new theory, the modern, highly technical linguistic favorite. It suggests your language belongs to a tiny, nearly extinct language family called Yeniseian. Today, this language family is spoken by only a few hundred people. The Ket, living in the absolute middle of the Siberian forest. This theory is based on a Rosetta Stone breakthrough, a single short Xiongnu song that a Chinese source transcribed. In the 1990s, linguists began to reanalyze the old Chinese pronunciation of those characters and found that, when translated through the rules of Yeniseian grammar, they made sense. They formed a coherent sentence. It's a brilliant, tantalizing, and almost unbelievable piece of linguistic detective work. But the most likely answer? It's the one we've been hitting all along. It's all of the above. Your empire was not a nation. It was a confederation. It was a multilingual, multi-ethnic conglomerate. Section 2. Your ruling elite, the royal Xiongnu, may have spoken one language, maybe Yeniseian. But your conquered tribes, the Donghu, the Yuezhi, the Dingling, they all kept speaking their own languages. Your empire was a babel of early Turkic, Mongolic, Iranian, and Yeniseian dialects. There was no Xiongnu language. There was a Xiongnu empire. Trying to find one language for you is like trying to find one language for NATO. And so, your voice is gone. It is a perfect, final mystery. It is the ghost of a people who changed the world, who built an empire to rival China, who forced the creation of the Great Wall, and who did it all without writing a single word. Their art, their genes, and the fear they inspired are their only testimony. All that is left are the echoes. And so we stand here in the silence. You're back where we started, in that endless ocean of yellow grass, under the infinite, crushing blue of the sky god, Tengri. But it's quiet now. The thunder of a million horses is gone. The shriek of Modu's whistling arrow is just a story. The smoke from the sacked capital of Luoyang has cleared, 700 years ago. The name, Xiongnu, has vanished from the world. It floats away like ash from a dead fire. What happened to you? What happened to those southern Xiongnu, your descendants, who burned Luoyang in 311 CE? This is the mainstream historical fact. You did not die. You melted. You assimilated. Your fiery Hanzhou kingdom, founded by Lu Yuan, was a brilliant, brutal, and short-lived flash. It was one of the 16 kingdoms that tore northern China apart. After a few decades, it was conquered. By whom? By other barbarians. The steppe, as always, produces new waves. The Xianbei, the Ruran, the Gökturks, they all followed the path you forged. And you, the people, you just stayed. You settled down. Your great-great-grandchildren stopped living in Gurs. They stopped drinking arag. They married into the local Han Chinese population. They married into the new Xianbei ruling class. You, the Xiongnu, became a part of the new ethnic mix of northern China. Your genes, your DNA, are still there today, part of the bloodline of hundreds of millions of people who have no idea they are the descendants of the fierce slaves who built an empire. The name Xiongnu survived only as a curse. It became a boogeyman word. For the next 700 years, Chinese poets and historians in the Tang Dynasty would look north at any nomad, a Gokturk, a Khitan, and they would call them Xiongnu. It was no longer an identity, it was a trope, it was a job description, it meant the northern barbarian. This, of course, is the last and greatest scholarly debate. Historians still argue whether your empire failed or if it succeeded beyond its wildest dreams. The failure case is easy. You lost. Your language is dead. Your identity is gone. Your empire was shattered. The Han in the end won. Their civilization, their language, their writing endured. You are a footnote in their history. But the success case is so much stronger. You didn't just challenge China. You created the template. You were the prototype. Every single steppe empire that came after you was just copying your homework. Your decimal military system, the Tumen, remember Section 5? That perfect base 10 organization of 1 million people? 1,000 years later, a man named Temujin, Genghis Khan, would use that exact same system to build his empire. He was, in every meaningful way, Modu Chanyu 2.0. You didn't just write the first chapter, you wrote the playbook. And this brings us to the quirky tidbit. Your most lasting, most famous, and most physical legacy is the one thing you never touched. The Great Wall of China. We think of it as a monument to Chinese strength, to its endurance, to its civilization. It is not. It is a 13,000-mile-long, 2,000-year-old scar on the face of the earth. And it is a monument to you. It is a testament to your power. It proves that you, a people with no writing, no cities, and no civilization, a people who lived in felt houses and drank fermented milk, were so powerful, so fast, so terrifying, and so brilliant that the greatest, richest, most populous, and most advanced empire in the world had to spend centuries and ruinous fortunes, building a wall across their entire world, just to cope with you. You forced their hand. You forced them to become horsemen. You forced them to build the wall. You forced them to change their clothes. You forced them to rewrite their maps. And you didn't just do it in the east. Your lost northern cousins, the ghosts who fled west from Jiji, Section 19, they became the Huns, Section 20. And they put so much pressure on the Gothic tribes that they, in turn, flooded into the Roman Empire, helping to shatter the other great civilized center of the world. You, the Xiongnu, a single people from a cold, high plain, set in motion the events that would help topple both of the ancient world's great empires, Han China and Rome. And now, it's quiet. You stand on the steppe and the wind pulls at your clothes. There are no more golden belt buckles in the dirt. There are no more gurs on the horizon. There are no more whistling arrows. There is just the wind and the grass and the silent, endless blue sky. Your name is gone, but the echo of the hoofbeats, the echo of the power you wielded, will shape the world forever. And so, our long journey for tonight comes to a close. The Xiongnu name, once a sound that could make an emperor tremble, has dissolved back into the steppe, back into the earth, and into the blood of peoples 1,000 miles away. The great gurs are gone, the composite bows are unstrung, and the golden plaques are safe behind museum glass. The wind that you hear on the high plains of Mongolia is the only voice that remains, and it speaks of an empire built not of stone, but of will of horses, and of the unyielding, unbreakable human spirit that found a way to master one of the harshest landscapes on our planet. The story is over. The fire in the center of the Jir has burned down to soft red embers. The herds are quiet, safe for the night, huddled together against the cold. And all of that vast, thundering, violent energy has faded, leaving behind only a deep, profound, and peaceful silence. You can let go of the story now. You can let the details blur, let the names fade, and let the images of the grass sea and the endless sky just soften. There is nothing left to do. There is nowhere left to ride. There is only the quiet and the darkness and the gentle call of sleep.